seasoned veteran in his own time. On the battlefield, he gained respectful fame. With many medals of bravery and straps to his name. He grew a beard as soon as he could to cover the scars on his face, and always urged his men on. But on the eve of a great battle with the infantry and dream, the old general tossed in his sleep and wrestled with its meaning. He awoke from the night to tell what he had seen, and walked slowly out of his tent. All the men held tall with their chests in the air, with the courage in their front and a fire in their stare. And it was a great morning, and they all wondered how they would fare. To the old general told them to go home. He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. And I've seen my mothers, and I will no other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. If you are young, then you must be living. Take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. If you are young, then you must be living. Go now, you are forgiven. But the men stood fast with their guns on their shoulders, not knowing what to do with the contradicting orders. The general said he would do his own duty, but he would extend it no further. The men could go as they pleased, but not a man moved. Their eyes gazed straight ahead till one by one they stepped back, and not a word was said. And the old general was left to his own words echoing in his head. He then prepared to fight. He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. No, and I've seen their mothers, and I will no other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. You are young and you must be living. Yeah. Take a shower and shine your shoes.
Good evening and welcome to Hamlin Sports Complex in Springfield, Oregon for tonight's game between the visiting Corvallis Knights and your Springfield Drifters. First pitch is scheduled for 6:35 p.m.
After dropping Game 1 of the 3-game series yesterday, the Springfield Drifters return home and face off against the Corvallis Knights. Hello and welcome to Hamlin Sports Complex. I'm Knight Uretsky, your play-by-play man for the Springfield Drifters, and man, oh man, is it good to be home. This is the first time the Springfield Drifters are at home here at Hamlin Sports Complex in 13 days, and they finally get to face off against their rivals, the Corvallis Knights. Yesterday, Springfield took the loss against Corvallis in Corvallis, and they're hoping to have the success at home they had against the Knights they had in late June. They won both the games here at Hamlin Sports Complex, as the series is an alternating 3-game series, and Springfield won both games here at Hamlin Sports Complex by the score of 3-1. Springfield hoping to have similar success today against the Corvallis Knights. But before we get into today's matchup, I want to play you today's Tommy Talk with head coach Tommy Richards. And let's just say you're going to want to listen to this one and then go back and also watch this one on YouTube, because in the middle of the entire interview with head coach Tommy Richards, a foul ball came over and hit me on the hat as we were doing this broadcast and doing the interview. And so you're going to definitely want to watch the YouTube video of that. It was a pretty fun one. We'll hope to get that actually clipped up to our Twitter as well. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and then go check that one out. But without further ado, here's today's Tommy Talk with head coach Tommy Richards.
Knight Uretsky here with head coach Tommy Richards for today's Tommy Talk. And coach, I mean, it's been forever. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of miss this. Have you missed the Tommy Talks, or are you kind of over it at this point in the season?
No, I have missed it, dude. I'm not over it at all. Every day is awesome out here. The Tommy Talk is, it's good to spend time with you, man. You make me think, and it's all good stuff, so I like it a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been a while since we've gotten the chance to actually talk. We had the series in Walla Walla, and then the first game in Corvallis yesterday. What was your overall assessment from that series in Walla Walla, and then we can get into that game yesterday in Corvallis?
Yeah, Walla Walla, I mean, each game is a little bit different. Obviously, the third game there, we were able to salvage a series, so I'm proud of that. Game 2 was tighter, 3-4 loss. And the first one was a little bit more kind of out of hand. So I was happy that we had the resolve to stay in the fight and pick up the victory in game game 3. But we just like to be more consistent. I think kind of the theme since the last time that we talked has really just been we're digging ourselves in holes early in games, and a lot of it is because of the defensive play. I mean, that's consistent with what was happening last night too. So that's kind of been the thing that we've got to, we got to mitigate that a little bit and protect our pitching a little bit more on the defensive side. Offensively, I think we're coming around a bit. Still not playing a true kind of consistent lineup. A lot of getting guys opportunities and stuff like that. But optimistic, and would have liked to won the series in Walla Walla, but couldn't do it.
Obviously, yesterday it was another loss for you guys. You guys have only had 2 wins in your last 11 games, and people may be frustrated with the record, but I think that a lot of people forget that this is a developmental league, and a lot of these guys are developing. In your eyes, who are some players that have taken the extra step this summer and really have developed?
Gosh, that's a great question, man. I mean, it's interesting when I go back and kind of look at notes from the beginning of the summer, or even just to think about how I thought about guys at the beginning of summer, and then to get to now and think about how far they've come or ways that they've improved. I've liked to see Trevor Anderson, kind of his game develop. I know he's not hitting what he wishes to be hitting, but I think that there's a lot of loud outs in there and like line drives that are getting caught. I just think that he plays hard, so I think it's been a productive summer for him. So many of the young guys, the incoming freshmen, I think that this summer has been invaluable for them. Looking at how many at-bats we've poured into Reeder, and just Hellman last night hit a ball like incredibly hard. Gosh, man, it's a tough question, but it's been really cool to see Isaiah Thomas kind of come into his own, after having the gap year there where he wasn't playing, and then at the beginning of the summer he looked out of rhythm, and it just kind of looked like he had a year off, and then we go through it and you see his at-bats getting better, his timing getting better. He's kind of losing the hesitancy piece that was maybe there at the beginning, and then should have seen the ball hit Walla Walla, and it was demolished. But there's still a lot of work that he has to do to become the player that he can be, because he's got a really high ceiling and such a good player. So, and then so many of the arms I thought have just competed so hard. I mean, think about Julian Hernandez, what he's done for us. So many outings, we're using him leverage kind of stuff. We're getting to a point in the summer where guys are going home, or have reached their innings limits and stuff like that. And so it's going to be a lot of new guys out there. But yeah, I mean, those are some of the guys that stand out to me. Jalen coming in and playing shortstop every day has been good. Nate Stevens kind of came in, started out hot, then he went through a little bit of a cold stretch offensively. But now I think he's kind of getting back to being the player that he can be. So, gosh, I could talk about all of them. But yeah, it's been fun to watch him grow and develop.
I'm sure you could talk about all of them. You kind of mentioned Nate Stevens at the end. I kind of want to talk to you about him a little bit as well. He had the big home run yesterday, and he's been swinging the bat pretty well since that last game in Ridgefield. What do you think the big shift was for him and to get those big at-bats again?
I think complexity is the enemy of execution, and I think for him, he's just got to keep it simple, and a quiet mind is a strong bat, and the less that he can think in there and the more that he can just trust his process and his ability, I think the better that he is. I heard Mike Leach say, one of the ways that he decides who plays quarterback is the guy that elevates the others around him. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily the guy with the quickest time to release or the most accurate guy. Obviously, that's important, but the most important thing at the quarterback position is, do you elevate the guys around you? And I think Nate actually does a good job on the field, between the lines of, he's been a good teammate, kind of elevating the play of others around him. So I've been happy with what he's been doing.
On the other side of things, today we're going to get KJ Rufo on the mound on the pitching side. What have you seen from him throughout the summer? And I believe this is going to be his last start. Is it his last start today?
Yep.
It's the last start for him today. What have you seen throughout the summer for him, and what are you hoping to see from him in his final start today?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's had some good outings for us. I mean, he got a win against Corvallis last time we pitched against him. So he's had good outings, and then he's had outings where maybe he's just kind of lacked like that wipeout pitch. You know what I'm saying? I think as far as his development goes, I think that's one thing that would be huge for him. If you go back and look at like his last few outings, it seems like the first batter of the game is always like a 7 to 10 pitch at bat, where there's just, if he could wipe that guy out, that'd be huge. And so I think that at times he's maybe thrown more pitches per AB than he wants to. I think maybe developing that wipeout pitch could get him deeper into games, and I've been really proud of him at KJ. I think he's got a really high ceiling, and I think he's going to do great things at Portland. He can get the fastball to both sides of the plate, throw the slider cutter deal in there, and be really effective. So I just hope he goes out there. One thing we talked about last time with him was just like composure. You know what I mean? And because at some point the ball is going to bounce the wrong way tonight. You know what I mean? The umpires are going to miss calls. It's going to happen to Corvallis too. And I think part of the game is like who can handle those things better. I think that goes a long ways in kind of deciding the outcome of the game. So hopefully he can do that tonight.
That July 4th week, we had a lot of pitchers get the start for Springfield, and that was their final start of their Springfield Drifter career. They ended up going 7 innings 3 times during that week. Is 7 innings a goal for KJ Rufo today?
I mean, it depends on how many pitches per inning he's throwing. It'll probably be like 70 pitches right in there. He didn't log a ton of innings at Portland in the spring, but just thinking about the mileage that he's had this summer. So if he wants to go deep in the game, he's going to have to try and get guys on or out in Weston. Heads up, dude. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all good. I hit the brother.
Got your bill. But yeah, I mean, it just comes down to on or out in less than 3 kind of thing. If you can keep your composure through that, you can do it through anything.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Last question, a little bit of a silly one, but new uniforms today. What are your thoughts on these ones?
Yeah, awesome. Columbia blue, kind of. They got the buck blood kind of feel to them, and yeah, I'm really excited about them. The Spanish, I'm not sure exactly what the translation is. I'm sure it's Drifters, but the guys are jacked up. We like the Columbia blue, and fired up, man.
Awesome. Good luck today, Coach.
Thanks, man.
That's been today's Tommy Talk with head coach Tommy Richards.
Definitely an eventful Tommy Talk today. It was one that I had never happened before. I've actually never done an interview and been hit by a foul ball. We had been sitting there the entire season, and that was the very first time that it actually happened. A foul ball did hit me. We've had a few that went on the over canopy, but this one, the ball bounced and then went over and then hit the brim of my hat. I'm okay, but nonetheless, it was a fun Tommy Talk with head coach Tommy Richards, and it was good to talk about those players that have been developing this summer, because that's what the WCL is all about, developing these baseball players to become the best baseball players they can be. Now, yesterday, Springfield took the loss against the Corvallis Knights. They dropped overall to 16-27 on the year. They're 6-10 in the second half of the season, and so it's a little bit worse of a start here in the second half than they had in the first half of the season. Nonetheless, though, they're undefeated against the Corvallis Knights at home, and let's go ahead and read you today's starting lineups. For Corvallis, let's go ahead and start with them. Logan Johnstone is going to be leading things off. He'll be in center field. Tyler Quinn's going to be the third baseman, his first action here in the second series between these two programs. Kiko Romero is going to be the first baseman batting third. Riley Knight going to be the DH in the 4 spot. Titus Dimitru, the left fielder from Lynn Benton Community College, will be behind Knight in the 5 hole. Eli Kennel going to be the second baseman batting 6th. Tanner Smith, the catcher from Oregon State, batting 7th. Timo Becerra going to be the shortstop in the 8th spot, and then Ethan Lovelace is going to be the right fielder for the Corvallis Knights to round out their lineup. They'll be going up against KJ Rufo, the right-hander from the University of Portland. He'll be getting his 6th start of the year, his 9th outing overall. The former Portland Pickle is going to have his final start as a Springfield Drifter. He had a win against Corvallis all the way back on June 30th. He threw 5 innings, only allowed 1 hit, and struck out 6 batters. It was probably his best performance of the season, and so he's hoping to replicate that tonight against the Corvallis Knights. On the other hand, for Springfield, leading things off is going to be Cole Kleckner, the center fielder. Trevor Hansen going to be moved to the left side of the diamond today. He'll be playing a shortstop. Caden Delozier going to be the DH in the 3 hole. Isaiah Thomas batting 4th, the right fielder. Taylor Holder, the Corvallis native, going to be batting 6th. Ryan Hayes going to be the catcher today for the Springfield Drifters. He'll be in the 6th spot. Cade Chris going to be batting 7th, followed by Michael Soper, the third baseman, batting 8th. Ethan Sitzman going to be the second baseman in the 9th spot, and that'll do it for the Springfield Drifters lineup. They'll be going up against Nathan DeSchreier. He is a right-handed pitcher for the Corvallis Knights from Bainbridge Island, Washington, and he just is going into his redshirt freshman year at Gonzaga. So that'll do it for us here on this pregame show. Stick around because we got the Corvallis Knights versus the Springfield Drifters for the 5th time this season. Don't go anywhere here on the Drifters live stream. Don't forget to check out today's Tommy Talk and follow us on social media at Drifters Baseball. We got baseball coming up in about 5 minutes or so after the national anthem.
Drifters. Batting first, playing center field, number 8, representing Lane Community College, Cole Kleckner. Batting second, playing shortstop, number 16, representing Seattle University, Trevor Antonson. Batting third, as designated hitter, number 28, representing Benton Community College, Hayden Delosier. Batting fourth, playing right field, number 38, representing the University of Oregon, Isaiah Thomas. Batting fifth, playing left field, number 30, representing the University of Nevada, Reno, Taylor Holder. Batting sixth, playing catcher, number 10, representing Seattle University, Ryan Hayes. Batting seventh, playing first base, number 35, representing Tacoma Community College, Cade Christ. Batting eighth, playing third base, number 9, representing Benton Community College, Michael Soper. Batting ninth, playing second base, number 17, representing St. Louis University, Ethan Sitzman. Starting pitcher for the Drifters this evening, number 12, out of University of Portland, K.J. Rufo. The Drifters are managed this evening by head coach Tommy Richards, as assisted by coaches Hessler, Mike Takamori, and Jordan Sunnage. Ladies and gentlemen and fans of all ages, please rise if you are able and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem, as performed tonight by Jill Switzer.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, fans, that concludes our pregame activities. Let's play ball.
I was so hard-headed at first. My grandma didn't even believe in me. I kept going.
Game number 2 of the 3-game series coming up right now. KJ Rufo is on the mound warming up for the Springfield Drifters. And today the Springfield Drifters are unveiling their newest uniform. It's the Los Vagabondos uniforms. They're going to be wearing the baby blue jerseys. Columbia Blue is the official title. Either way, they look stellar out there here at Hamlin Sports Complex. Light blue hat with a dark blue bill, and then the light blue jerseys with white pants today for Springfield, the very first time the Drifters wearing these uniforms. Corvallis, on the other hand, they're going to be wearing gray uniforms. This is the first time we're seeing the Knights wear these here at Hamlin Sports Complex, and nonetheless, it's going to be a great uniform matchup for today. Yesterday was a pretty hot day in Corvallis. The high temperature was 95 degrees at first pitch. Today, it was also a very warm day, not as warm as we have beautiful day for baseball here in Springfield. Get you the weather here in just a second. It is 93 degrees currently, and that's going to drop throughout the night. It's going to be about 80 degrees later in the day. We saw that yesterday. The weather did cool down towards the end of the game, but in the early portion of yesterday's game, the ball did fly. There was 6 runs scored by Corvallis in the first 2 innings, 2 runs scored by the Drifters. And so if you combine that together, 10 runs in the first 2 innings, and that was just an indicator of how the ball was flying yesterday with the hot weather. Springfield hoping to limit the damage for Corvallis, as Corvallis this season, they've only lost 12 games, and of those 12 games, 6 of them they've lost when they've scored 1 or less run. And so if Springfield can do a good job like they did the first 2 times against Corvallis and limit the Knights to only just 1 run or less, then they have a good shot at defeating the Corvallis Knights this season. KJ Rufo, it's going to be his 6th start of the year, his 9th game overall. His last outing, he got the loss against Walla Walla. He threw 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, 6 hits overall, but he did have 6 strikeouts. The first time he faced off against the Corvallis Knights, we mentioned it earlier in the pregame show, 5 innings, 1 hit baseball. No runs for KJ Rufo, and this is his final start as a Springfield Drifter, and have a great final outing. Logan Johnson, Tyler Quinn, Kiko Romero up for the Corvallis Knights as the first pitch comes in low and inside on Logan Johnson, and we're underway 4 minutes late at 6:39. Wind today drifting out towards left field, sun and no clouds. Second pitch to Johnstone is a fastball in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Logan Johnson, this is his first game against the Springfield Drifters. He did not appear in this series earlier this season against Springfield. So this is his first look in this Drifters ballpark. Third pitch inside, and it's now 2-1 to Johnstone. Overall in the year, a .295 batting average, 3 doubles and 26 hits for the center fielder. The 2-1 pitch now from Rufo comes in just a little low and inside, and it's now 3-1 to Logan Johnstone. Johnstone, originally from Los Gatos, California, now plays his collegiate baseball at Gonzaga. So him and the starting pitcher today, Nathan DeShriver, both Gonzaga Bulldogs for the Corvallis Knights. The 3-1 from Rufo, down and in, and that's going to be a walk for Johnstone. 5-pitch at bat, 4 of them balls, and the leadoff runner is aboard for the Corvallis Knights. So runner at first, 0-0 the score as we're just under the way here in Springfield, and here's Tyler Quinn, the third baseman. Quinn, originally listed as a catcher, again the start at the hot corner today, stands in against the right-hander in Rufo, now working out of the stretch. First pitch to Quinn, he shows bunt, gets it down the third base line, but it rolls a little left of the chalk, and it's foul. Defensively today for Springfield in the outfield, left field Taylor Holder, center field Cole Kleckner, right field Isaiah Thomas. In the infield on the left side, Michael Soper at third, Trevor Anson at shortstop, Ethan Sitzman at second base, Cade Chris going to be the first baseman, and Ryan Hayes is back behind the plate. This is going to be his 3rd start behind the plate since June 15th when he had that knee injury that kept him out a few weeks. Quinn in the box ready. Rufo comes set at the waist. 0-1 the count. Runner at first. Rufo ready, and here's the 0-1. It's going to be sliced out on a flare to right field. Isaiah Thomas jogging his way over in right, makes the catch, and the first out is recorded here in the first inning. It's an F9, and Logan Johnstone goes back to first base, and in steps the left-handed hitter Kiko Romero, the first baseman. Romero's been the most dangerous hitter for the Corvallis Knights, at least against the Springfield Drifters. Overall in the series between these two teams, 7 for 15 with 2 home runs and 2 doubles. Rufo goes back to first. In there safely is Johnstone, Cade Chris covering. This is a common trend we've seen from KJ Rufo on the mound this season. He is a pitcher that definitely is keen to throwing back to first. He loves to control the base paths. First pitch to Kiko Romero is cut on and missed. 0-1. Rufo is a former catcher that ultimately made the transition to the mound. He had originally chose the University of Portland because of their ability to make him a two-way player. Ultimately, though, since then, they found out that he threw over 93 miles per hour and said, hey, you're going to be a pitcher only now. And that's what he's been. Here's the 0-1 to Romero, and that one is swung on and missed again, 0-2. For KJ Rufo, it's been quite the transition to become a pitcher because he had never really been a pitcher prior to it. Now he's having to make the adjustment in college. From Rufo, you're going to see a fastball, slider, cutter, changeup. Here's the 0-2 pitch, fouled just back by Romero, and we'll do it one more time. So you'll see him use that fastball cutter a lot. When that slider is working, and then he's working pretty efficiently. When it's not, then he runs into a little bit of trouble. Rufo looks back to first, now comes set. Romero awaiting the 0-2. And here's the pitch. Sliced foul, right field side. We'll do the 0-2 again. This is another thing that's very common with KJ Rufo and his battles on the mound. He's a pitcher that gets into a lot of deep counts. You got to think about his last outing here at home. That was against the Portland Pickles, and he started the game with a 10-pitch at bat. We were actually talking about that on today's Tommy Talk with Coach Richards, and he was saying that Rufo, he's the type of guy that gets into those long at bats, and today he's only going to be about 70 pitches, so if he's going to want to pitch deep, he's going to have to try to get that wipeout pitch that Coach Richards was hoping he'd develop. The 0-2 swing and a miss. A strikeout for KJ Rufo, his first one today, and he gets Romero to chase on the 71-mile-per-hour changeup, and now two are gone here in the first. So bring up Briley Knight, the DH. Runner at first and Logan Johnstone after the leadoff walk. 2 outs, 0-0 the score here in the top of the first. Briley Knight yesterday, a 2-for-4 day with an RBI. First pitch to Briley Knight, sliced foul, left side, 0-1. Overall in the series, Briley Knight, a 4-for-13 hitting against Springfield. He does have 3 RBIs against the Drifters. Made his return to the Corvallis Knights this season after playing last year in the Cape Cod League. Former WCL MVP. Rufo goes back to first, keeps an eye on Johnstone. Chris there covering, but no tag was made. Johnstone in there safely. 0-1 the count, Rufo ready. Kicks and fires. Pitch is grounded up the middle. Get through the hole, and it will. And that's going to be a base hit for Briley Knight. Moving over to second is Johnstone. As Ethan Sitzman, the second baseman, was shifted a little over towards the right side, and it created a big hole up the middle. And Briley Knight was able to find it. So it's a 2-out hit for the Corvallis Knights, the first hit of the game. And it puts 2 men on for Titus Dimitro, with Johnstone standing at second and Knight at first. 2 outs here in the top of the first, 0-0 the score. First pitch now, Dimitro fouls it away, 0-1. Dimitro got the start today after having yesterday off. Overall in the series against Springfield that first time in late June, he went 2 for 6 with 2 runs scored. He'll be heading into his second year at Lynn Benton Community College this next season. Rufo dangles the arm and looks in. Now comes ready at the waist. Looks back towards second, now to the plate. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's high, 83-mile-per-hour slider, 1-1. Dimitro this past year at Lynn Benton Community College, a 267 average. This season with Corvallis, he's hitting 277, so just 10 points higher than his collegiate season so far. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Looked at and called a strike, 1-2. 93-mile-per-hour fastball for Rufo there. And his spin rate on that fastball was 2,300. That's a big reason why the University of Portland decided to make him a pitcher only. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Slider away, 2-2. Rufo tried to get Dimitro to chase that time. He did not. And he'll have to stand in for another pitch. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Looked at, but just misses down and in. And it's now 3-2. Another long at bat for KJ Rufo. Already has found himself into some deep counts already. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Just outside, an 83-mile-per-hour slider for Rufo just off the plate. It puts Dimitro at first, second walk in the inning, and the bases are juiced for Eli Kennel. So Johnstone moves over to third, Briley Knight to second, and Dimitro at first. So here's Eli Kennel, the Oregon State commit, part of the same recruiting class as Springfield Drifter Cannon Reeder. First pitch, Kennel going to hit this one towards left field, slicing foul and lands foul into the party deck. 0-1. Eli Kennel, the first time he faced off against the Springfield Drifters, he went 2 for 8. He had an 0 for 4 game, and then he had a 2 for 4 game. That 2 for 4 performance, he had 4 RBIs, including a 3-run home run. That was in the game in Corvallis. Rufo steps off the mound and then gets back on it. 0-1 the count with 2 outs and the bases loaded. It was a big hit for Kennel, and that was a big game for Corvallis at the plate. 14 runs overall. Here's the 0-1, and that one just off the edge of the plate. 1-1. 93-mile-per-hour fastball from Rufo there, and it evens. And we mentioned that Kennel was a part of the same recruiting class as Cannon Reeder. Well, he's actually going to be roommates with Cannon Reeder next year. Here's the 1-1. That one's cut on and missed into the glove of Ryan Hayes, and it's now 1-2. So this is very exciting for the Oregon State fans out there because you get to see Eli Kennel today with Cannon Reeder not in the lineup for Springfield. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. 69-mile-per-hour changeup for KJ Rufo, and Kennel was left whiffing. We'll now head to the bottom of the first inning. 0-0 the score as the bases are left loaded after 2 walks and 1 hit overall. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here on the Drifters live stream. Don't go anywhere. Top of the order coming up for Springfield.
Concessions located on both the first and third base concourses, as well as by the north entrance. For those partaking in alcoholic beverages, we kindly remind you to please drink responsibly. Number 8, Cole Kleckner.
0-0 the score after KJ Rufo got his second strikeout to end the first inning, or excuse me, the top of the first inning, with the bases loaded for Corvallis. Cole Kleckner, Trevor Anderson, Caden Delosier, 1, 2, and 3 for the Springfield Drifters going up against the right-hander into Shriver. First pitch to Cole Kleckner is going to be called the strike as Kleckner showed bunt, pulled back, but it didn't matter anyways. 0-1. Quickly, DeShriver ready, and the 0-1 is grounded to the right side. Eli Kennel at second picks it up, sidearms it to first, and Romero fields it on one hop. And that's how we're started here in the bottom of the first inning. 4-3 ground out. Defensively for the Corvallis Knights, Titus Demetriou in left field, Logan Johnstone in center field, Ethan Lovelace in right field. In the infield, Tyler Quinn at third base, Timo Becerra at shortstop, Eli Kennel at second base, Kiko Romero at first base, and then Tanner Smith behind the plate. Here's Trevor Anson as the first pitch to the shortstop is down and away, and it's 1-0. Trevor Anson yesterday, a 2-for-4 performance with a run in the loss. The 1-0 to him, high, and it's now 2-0. Overall in the series, 4-for-14 against the Corvallis Knights. Here's the 2-0 to Anson. That one just off the edge of the plate, 3-0. DeShriver, this is going to be his fourth start of the year, his 12th game overall, so he's primarily a pitcher that comes out of the pen. His furthest outing that he's gone, it was 6 innings all the way back on June 14th. Brushes up Anson inside and got hit by a pitch. Anson's heading to first, and runners on for the Springfield Drifters here in the bottom of the first. 0-0 the score, 1 out, and here comes Caden Delozier. Delozier yesterday, it was his first time as a Springfield Drifter facing off against the Corvallis Knights. He went 1 for 5. This one almost hit Delozier, but he was able to flex the hips a little bit outward, and it's now 1-0. Delozier just joined the Springfield Drifters, and he's been with the program for about a week or so since last Sunday in Ridgefield. He was playing for the Bend Elks prior to that. Misses inside, and almost a third straight pitch that hit a batter. The first one did hit Trevor Anson, who's standing at first, and then back-to-back pitches in the batter's box of the left-handed hitter in Delozier. Here's the 2-0. Delozier hits this foul, first base side, 2-1. So DeShriver overall in the year, a 2-2 record, a 1.42 ERA in 19 innings pitched. But we mentioned he had an outing against Cowlitz June 14th where he threw 6 innings. Since then, he has not thrown more than 2 whole innings. So he's trying to work his way back into the starting role. The 2-1 outside on Delozier, and it's now 3-1 to the DH. Delozier got the start at DH today after Cade Chris got inserted into the lineup as the first baseman. So Delozier gets the day off in the field. The 3-1 skies this high in the air and slicing into foul territory, landing in the bleachers, 3-2. DeShriver dangles the arm in, looks back towards first and comes set. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Delozier grounds it to the right side. Romero cuts it off at first, but knocks it down just enough to pick it up and throw it to first. By the time that he threw it to first, Delozier had beaten the throw. Anson heads over to second, and that'll be, I believe, an infield single for Caden Delozier. We'll have to see what they mark it on the score sheet. But Anson moves over to second, Delozier standing at first, and here comes Isaiah Thomas, the cleanup hitter for the Springfield Drifters, and we did get the confirmation that is an infield hit for Caden Delozier, so the Drifters get their first hit of the game. And similar to Corvallis, they get runners on first and second here in the bottom of the first. DeShriver ready. First pitch to Isaiah Thomas. Comes in just below the knees. It's now 1-0. Isaiah Thomas yesterday hit a double. It was his only hit of the game. He had 3 at-bats. 2 of them he struck out before that double. Then after that double, they decided to pinch hit him in the game for Luke Brown later on. Brown, though, did have an RBI single, so the pinch hit was worth it. Second pitch to Thomas, down and away, 2-0. Isaiah Thomas, the former Vanderbilt Commodore. It's been fun to watch him get back into baseball after taking a whole year off baseball. So far, 6 for 19 in his at-bats with Springfield. The 2-0 cut on and miss from Thomas, and it's now 2-1. Overall, if you do the math, the 6 for 19 results in a .316 batting average in the small sample size. Nonetheless, really good numbers considering that 2 of his hits have been doubles, and one of them a 3-run shot against Walla Walla that was one of the hardest hit balls this season by a Springfield Drifter. Here's the 2-1 to Thomas. That one's high, and it's now 3-1 to the right fielder. Thomas struck out twice yesterday, and he only has 4 strikeouts now in his 19 at-bats, so doubled it up yesterday. He's been working his way back in to try to see those off-speed pitches. He'll chop this to the right side, coming over his kennel at second, quickly picks it up and fires to first. Thomas is out there, but Anson moves over to third, and Delosier moves over to second. 2 runners in scoring position for the Springfield Drifters with 2 outs. And here's the 5-hole hitter, Taylor Holder. Taylor Holder had some hard hit balls yesterday. Only 1 got through, but they credited it as an error, so he went 0 for 4 yesterday with a run after scoring after reaching on the said error. First pitch to Taylor Holder, fouled away, and it's now 0-1. Holder, a Corvallis native. Went to Crescent Valley High School, now playing for the Springfield Drifters. He's currently in the transfer portal after spending his first 2 years at the University of Oregon. He went on a trip a couple of weeks ago to go see some universities, and we have still yet to see where Holder's going to play next year. The 0-1 cut on and missed into the mitt of Tanner Smith. It's now 0-2. Feel like that's been the story of Taylor Holder's season. He's been barreling up balls, they just haven't dropped. Think about yesterday. He hit a ball over 100 miles per hour off the bat. I believe it was 110 rather, to right field, but it was a jumping play by the right fielder yesterday, Brady Lavoie. Third pitch comes in, and it's a called strike 3 to Taylor Holder, and that'll do it for the bottom of the first inning. 2 runners are left stranded in scoring position for the Springfield Drifters. Just 1 hit for Caden Delosier as we head to the second inning. Corvallis Knights coming up to the plate. It's going to be the bottom of the order. Tanner Smith, Timo Becerra, and Ethan Lovelace. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here at home on the Drifters live stream.
Number 20, Tanner Smith.
Only 1 hit allowed for KJ Rufo back in the first inning. He's out on the mound for the second inning now. It's the bottom of the order. Tanner Smith steps up to the plate as the first pitch from Rufo here in the top of the second misses inside on a slider, and it's 1-0. Tanner Smith got the start yesterday at DH for the Corvallis Knights, and he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He'll line this one up the middle. Kleckner comes in a few steps and makes the catch in dead center, and Smith is out on a lineout. And the first out is recorded here in the top of the second inning. So bring up Timo Becerra, the shortstop. He's back in the lineup for Corvallis today after having yesterday off. We saw Becerra a little bit in that first time through the series against Springfield in late June. And now we see him here today. First pitch to Becerra. Called a strike. Down and in, 0-1. Becerra on the year, a .242 batting average, but he's one of the hottest hitters on this Corvallis Knights team. He's on a 7-game hit streak, and during that stretch, .384. Fouls away the 0-1, and it's now 0-2. And sometimes that's all it takes for these summer ball players. Becerra, he's at Stanford this past year, and, you know, playing in Stanford, it's pretty competitive. You have the entire year there, and then you come to the WCL, you got to work your way in it a little bit. The 0-2 down and away, and it's now 1-2 to Becerra. Got to think about a guy like Nate Stevens for the Springfield Drifters. He's starting to make that turn a little bit and starting to play a little bit later or better towards the later part of the season. The 1-2 to Becerra, slapped foul, and we'll do it one more time. Overall, though, on the year, 16 RBIs for the shortstop. So despite the low batting average, 16 RBIs is pretty solid. Rufo shakes a couple of times. Now ready, the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Called, strike 3. Third strikeout today for KJ Rufo, and the second out is recorded here in the top of the second. Here comes the 9-hole hitter, Ethan Lovelace. Nobody on in this 0-0 game. So KJ Rufo, he had 5 innings, just 1 hit his first time against the Corvallis Knights back in June. He had 6 strikeouts in that performance, already up to 3, and we're not even through the second inning. First pitch to Ethan Lovelace, hits him, and he'll be aboard at first base. Second time today, a batter has been hit by a pitch, first one for the Corvallis Knights, after Trevor Anson was hit by a pitch for the Drifters back in the first inning. So the hit by pitch puts a runner on for the Corvallis Knights. 2 outs in the inning, and here's the leadoff hitter, Logan Johnstone, as the lineup turns over. Rufo going to have to go work back into the stretch. Corner infield comes in. Johnstone's going to line the first pitch he sees towards the left center field gap. Kleckner cuts it off in the alley and then throws it to third, but Sarah was sprinting over there. They throw over to second, and in there safely was Lovelace was heading to third. Either way, it's a double for Johnstone, and 2 men are aboard for the Corvallis Knights. So Lovelace at third after being hit by a pitch. Johnstone to second after the 2-out double. Second hit of the day for the Corvallis Knights, and here's Tyler Quinn, the third baseman. Fourth double of the year for Johnstone. And Rufo's in a little bit of a jam like he was in the first inning. He had bases loaded, 2 outs, got out of it with a strikeout. Now here's Quinn. First pitch to the third baseman, fouled into the mitt of Hayes. It's now 0-1. Quinn in his first at bat flew out to right field after showing bunt on the first pitch he saw. Up for the second time now. Here's the 0-1. Comes in just inside and down, 1-1. So Corvallis threatening again against KJ Rufo. He's going to try to work himself out of this one more time. He's been able to do so throughout the season. We'll see if he does so here. Quinn grounds it down the third base line. It's fair. That'll score both runs as sprinting over in left field, there's Taylor Holder. Quinn going to stop at second as the throw comes in from Holder in the corner. It's a 2 RBI double for Tyler Quinn, and back-to-back doubles are doing it for the Corvallis Knights as they take the lead 2-0. Fifth double of the year for Tyler Quinn, and his 14th and 15th RBI drives in Lovelace and Johnstone as Corvallis takes an early lead. Still a runner in scoring position for Corvallis, and here's the dangerous Kiko Romero. He struck out swinging his first time up, but nonetheless been the most dangerous batter against the Drifters. First pitch slices this in the air, foul. Third base side, 0-1. So Romero struck out in that first time up, but he still has hit 2 home runs against the Springfield Drifters and has hit 2 doubles as well. He's hoping to continue the double streak for the Corvallis Knights after they've gotten back-to-back. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Cut on and missed, and it's now 0-2. Rufo gets ahead again. Romero on the year does have 6 doubles. I think the more impressive note is he has 5 home runs. He was a guy that hit 6 home runs in the JUCO World Series when he was playing there this past year at Central Arizona. The 0-2 pitch, high and away, 92-mile-per-hour fastball there for Rufo. 1-2. Rufo, the first time against Romero, got him to swing and miss on a changeup. That one came in at about 73 miles per hour. We did see Rufo get a strikeout to Eli Kennel that was 69 miles per hour on the changeup. The 1-2, Romero hits this deep in the air towards right field. Is it fair? It is foul. It would have been gone if it was fair. Romero launched that over the wall. It was 327 feet into the bullpen of the Drifters, but it sliced foul and went right of the foul pole. And we'll do the 1-2 one more time. That's just a display of Kiko Romero's power right there. That's quite the pop for the left-handed hitter. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner at second. Here's the pitch from Rufo, and actually he'll step off the mound, look back towards second, and then get back on the bump. 2-0 Corvallis with the lead after 2 runs in this inning. It was a 2 RBI double for Tyler Quinn on a ground ball down the third base line. Rufo ready, the 1-2, high on Romero. Didn't get him to chase on the heater, and it's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. And the hit him. Romero's going to go to first, and Rufo got ahead early against Romero. Ultimately, Romero wins the battle and heads to first on a hit by pitch. Second hit by pitch in this inning for KJ Rufo. Third hit by pitch overall in the game between both squads. And this brings up the cleanup hitter, Briley Knight, with Romero at first, Tyler Quinn at second, and 2 outs in the top of the second in this 2-0 ball game. Infield shifted a little bit over to the right with the left-handed hitter in Briley Knight. The first pitch is cut on and fouled away, 0-1. Looked like it got Hayes on the upper thigh portion of his body. Hayes, he had been dealing with a little bit of a knee injury in there to give him a little bit of a break there to try to walk that one off. Gotta think that's a stinger behind the plate. Riley Knight at the plate, up for the second time in as many innings. He singled his first time up, but was left stranded at second after KJ Rufo got a strikeout with Eli Kennel to get out of the first inning with the bases loaded and didn't surrender a single run. On the count after the foul ball by Knight. Everyone's finally ready. Hayes shakes it off. And now Rufo shakes him off as he comes set after nodding his head. The 0-1 pitch looked at, called a strike. 84-mile-per-hour slider there from Rufo. 0-2. Rufo, his slider and his cutter come in pretty similarly. Nonetheless, he's been able to locate the zone a little bit today. Already 3 strikeouts. The 0-2. Hit in the air towards left field. It's slicing foul and lands foul just into the fans in left field. Do the 0-2 one more time. Fourth pitch of the at-bat coming up to Briley Knight with an 0-2 count and 2 outs and 2 runners on. Rufo so far approaching 55 pitches. The 0-2. Grounded softly, left side. Soper at third base, picks it up, throws the first. Cade Christ a little off the bag, but got it back on the bag just in time to get Briley Knight, and that'll do it for the top of the second inning. 2 runs come in for the Corvallis Knights on the 2 RBI double for Tyler Quinn. Overall, 2 hits in the inning, and that'll do it as we head to the second inning, to the bottom of the second inning, rather. Ryan Hayes, Cade Chris, Michael Soper, 6, 7, and 8 coming up for Springfield. You're watching the Drifters at home on the Drifters live stream.
Number 10, Ryan Hayes.
Two nothing Corvallis with the lead as we begin the bottom of the second inning. Ryan Hayes, the catcher, stepping up to the plate, facing off against Nathan DeShriver. First pitch to the catcher, high and away, and it's now 1-0. 2-0 Corvallis with the lead after taking the lead in the top of the second. It was a 2 RBI double for Tyler Quinn, the third baseman, and that put the Knights ahead. The 1-0 to Ryan Hayes, swing and a miss, and it's now a 1-1. So we mentioned at the beginning of the game, Corvallis, they have 6 losses on the year when they score 1 or less run. So far, they've scored 2. Hayes is going to drive this out towards left field, over the head of the left fielder, Dimitru. Hayes is going to be digging for 2 as the throw comes into second, not in time. Hayes standing up at second with a double, and that's the way the Drifters get things started here in the second. This will bring up Cade Chris, the first baseman, after Hayes' leadoff double, his 5th double of the year. And here's Cade Chris. Runner at second, nobody out, 2-0 Corvallis with the lead. Second hit today for Springfield. First pitch to Cade Chris, going to be inside, and it's now 1-0. Cade Chris, his batting average has dropped all the way down to 228. There was a portion in time where he was batting in the 270s, and he was actually top 3 on the Drifters team in batting average. But he's only had 1 hit in his last 15 at-bats. Fouls this one away, and it's 1-1. During that stretch, he's also struck out 6 times. And I think that's just baseball for you. There's some times where you're going to be hitting the ball pretty well, which he has. When he did have that 1 hit, it was a double. And he has 7 doubles on the year with 2 home runs. But sometimes it starts to even out, and sometimes the balls just don't really drop. The 1-1 to Chris, down and away, and it's now 2-1. I think that Cade Chris has been quite the warrior for the Springfield Drifters this summer. He came in as a first baseman, and, well, he got thrusted into the catching role again, as he had not really caught since early spring. He had got moved to first base in college, but they had to move him back behind the plate. The 2-1 down and away, and it's now 3-1 to Cade Chris. So he took one for the team, put on the catching gear, and had done a really good job behind the plate. Since Ryan Hayes has returned to the lineup for Springfield and worked his way back from the knee injury, as well as Ryan Fowler getting added to the Springfield team, Chris has slowly moved his way back to first base. He'll line this to left field, and it drops down for a base hit. They're going to hold Hayes at third despite a bobble from Dimitru in left field. Chris going back to first. Back-to-back hits for Springfield, and runners on the corners. Sure, that's got to feel good for Cade Chris, getting his second hit in his last 16 at-bats now. Third hit of the game for Springfield, as Chris is standing at first, Hayes at third. 2-0 Corvallis with the lead here in the bottom of the second. Left-handed hitter in Soper steps up to the plate. DeShriver working out of the stretch. Corner of the infield comes in. First pitch to Soper. Down and in, it's now 1-0. Soper plays his collegiate baseball at Lynn Bend Community College. He's been receiving a couple of college offers to go play some NAIA baseball as well as some D3 offers. We'll see where Soper goes in the upcoming weeks. He'll take a pitch that's called for a strike, and it's now 1-1. It's only his fourth start since July 7th. This was a staple in the lineup in the early part of the year, but as more and more players came to Springfield, he saw less action. He'll sky this one in the air towards the left shallow field in left. Catching it is the shortstop Becerra, and the first out is recorded on a pop-up from Michael Soper. This brings up Ethan Sitzman, the second baseman. He's the 9-hole hitter for the Drifters. Cade Christ at first, Ryan Hayes at third with one out. Bottom of the second, 2-0 Corvallis with the lead. So this will be Ethan Sitzman's first look at the Corvallis Knights. First pitch to Sitzman, slider away, and it's now 1-0. Sitzman went to Wabash Valley Community College this past year, now going to be transferring to St. Louis. It's a Division I program, but Sitzman, he's had a limited amount of action with the Drifters. 1-0 away, and it's now 2-0 to Sitzman. He's just had 31 at-bats since joining the team ahead of that series in Bend. 4 hits in 31 at-bats. Just a 129 average. Just 1 hit in his last 5 games. He'd been dealing a little bit with a shoulder issue, but it seems to be all good, and he's ready to play. The 2-0 to Sitzman, down and away, and it's now 3-0. Sitzman, though, always an exciting player. He's going to be flying around the field wherever you see him, especially on defense. You'll see him really lay out for some balls. The 3-0 to Sitzman doesn't get the green light, and the ball misses outside. 4 straight balls, and now the bases are loaded for Springfield. Cade Chris moves over to second after the walk, and the top of the order's coming up for Springfield. Yesterday, the Drifters had the bases loaded with 1 out. They were unable to score. Today, they're hoping to have different success and hopefully change things around with Cole Kleckner standing in for the second time. 0 for 1 with a ground out to the right side. First pitch to Kleckner, popped in the air towards left field. Dimitro chasing over towards the line. He makes the catch. Tagging at third was Hayes, but he goes back to third after the throw was a dart from Dimitro and right. It was cut off by the third baseman, Tyler Quinn. And now 2 are gone here in the second, and it brings up Trevor Anson. Drifters don't score a run on the fly out with 1 out. Wasn't deep enough. So here's Trevor Anson, hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Now standing in for the second time. First pitch to Anson. In there for a strike. Outside part of the plate, 0-1. So Anson's had 7 hits in his last 4 games. Starting to make the turn towards the end of the season, up to .232 on the batting average after batting below the Mendoza line. The 0-1 high and inside. It's now 1-1 for Anson. Trevor Anson got a lot of praise from Coach Richards in the pregame today because of his development. We got to ask him about some players that he thought had developed pretty well, and he thought that Anson was one of those players. Definitely have to agree. The 1-1 Anson away, and it's now 2-1. I think a big thing for Trevor Anson was learning to hit for contact a little bit better. There was a portion in time on the year where he had 6 hits, 2 of them were doubles, and 1 of them was a home run. Since that point, he's had 13 hits. All of them have been singles, and so he's been able to level out the ball a little bit more. The 2-1 away, and it's now 3-1. And I think that's exactly the type of hitter that Trevor Anson's going to have to be if he wants to be successful. I think that he definitely has the ability to go for extra bases, but he's definitely more of a contact hitter in my books. The 3-1 in the zone for a strike, 3-2. Doesn't get more intense than this. 2-0 the score in the bottom of the second, but it's a 3-2 count and the bases are loaded. Springfield looking to potentially tie this game. The payoff pitch, swing and a miss. The Shriver gets out of it. Springfield leads the bases loaded. Second time in 2 days they've had the bases loaded with 1 out and aren't able to score any runs. Kleckner a flyout and Anson a strikeout swinging. 2 hits for the Drifters in the inning as 3 runners are left stranded. We head now to the 3rd inning. 2-0 Corvallis with the lead. It's going to be Dimitro, Kennel, and Smith coming up for the Knights here on the Drifters live stream.
Make sure to grab your tickets now for our next home game on July 29th versus the Springfield Drifters at any ticket window or online at driftersbaseball.com. First pitch is scheduled for 6:35 p.m. Now batting, number 15, Dimitro.
2-0 Corvallis with the lead here as we begin the top of the 3rd inning. KJ Rufo back on the mound. Dimitro in the box as the first pitch is going to be grounded to the left side. Anson picks it up at shortstop. Long throw to first, but it gets past Cade Chris. Either way, Dimitro was going to be safe at first anyways, and the ball found its way into the dugout of Springfield, and because of that, heading over to second is Dimitro. And now a runner in scoring position for the Corvallis Knights. And you got to think, in Anson in that situation, probably want to eat it up as he threw it a little bit rampant with his throw on the run across his body. In steps Eli Kennel, the second baseman, 0 for 1 with a strikeout swinging. That ended the 1st inning. First pitch to Kennel, he shows bunt, and he bunted it into the mid of Ryan Hayes, 0-1. We'll see if Kennel shows bunt again. We've seen a few Corvallis Knights show bunt on the first pitch and then not show bunt on the second pitch. Oh, on the count, here's the pitch from Rufo. Cut on and miss, and he gets ahead 0-2 to Kennel. The first time he got in a situation with 2 strikes against Kennel, he struck him out, and how he struck him out was a 69-mile-per-hour changeup. That was the lowest I've seen the miles per hour from KJ Rufo this season. And we'll see if he decides to throw in another changeup here with an 0-2 count. The pitch, the opposite, a fastball 91 miles per hour away, and it's now 1-2. So the velocity drops down a little bit for Rufo as he's working here into the 3rd inning. Does have a little bit of a high pitch count, over 50. The 1-2 to Kennel. Called strike 3. 80-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch from Rufo. Catches the zone, and Kennel's out on strikes for the second time today. It's the fourth strikeout now for KJ Rufo. In steps Tanner Smith, the catcher. Rufo now has a total of 31 strikeouts on the season. First pitch to Tanner Smith. Down and away, swung on and missed, 0-1. Smith, the first time he came to the plate, he barreled the ball to center field, but it was just a line drive that wouldn't go down. Cole Kleckner caught it on a line in dead center, and that was it for Tanner Smith. Now he's 0 for 5 in the series against Springfield. The 0-1 pitch, down and away, 82-mile-per-hour slider, misses, 1-1. Tanner Smith, now just 3 hits and 22 at-bats on the year. He struggled since being a late addition to this Corvallis Knights team. Pitch comes in, and it's cut on and missed, 1-2 now. Smith only batted .232 this past year at Oregon State in his sophomore season at Oregon State. Did play in 31 games, though, so he is getting some playing time. The 1-2 to Smith, down in the dirt. Hayes loses it for a second, and that results in a runner in Dimitro running over to third as he slides in safely. And it's a 2-2 count to Tanner Smith with 1 out and a runner at third. 2-0 Corvallis with the lead here in the top of the third inning. Springfield again trailing against the Corvallis Knights, and this is the Knights' largest lead here in Springfield in the season series. The 2-2 pitch, Smith barely got a piece of it. Fouled it just back, and it's 2-2. One looked like a slider from Rufo there, and it really just hit the knob of the bat for Smith. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss into the glove of Ryan Hayes. And that's the 5th strikeout for KJ Rufo. Back-to-back Ks. And it brings up Timo Becerra, the shortstop. Becerra was strikeout victim number 3 for Rufo, as he's hoping to replicate his success with a runner at third and 2 outs. But Becerra's going to line the first pitch. He sees the left field. Holder comes over and can't make the catch. Coming in to score is the runner in Dimitru, and Corvallis extends the lead. It's 3-0. First pitch swinging for Becerra, who's the hottest hitter on this Corvallis Knights team. He extends his hit streak to now 8 games with that base knock. And it brings up Ethan Lovelace, the 9-hole hitter, with 2 outs. It's been the 2-out hitting for Corvallis. They scored 2 runs last inning with 2 outs, and now a run here in the third. First pitch to Lovelace, jammed him up inside, fouled back, 0-1. Lovelace, the first time he came to the plate, he was hit by a pitch and came around to score on that double from Tyler Quinn. He really got the 2-out party started. He was up with 2 outs and nobody on, and then he was the first batter to get aboard with the hit by pitch. Then Johnstone doubled, and later Quinn doubled, and that was it. 2 runs came in a minute. Lovelace is going to call times. Rufo almost fired it in. We'll have to wait. On the count, runner at first, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Lovelace. Swung on and missed. Popped out of the glove of Hayes, and he went and corralled it before the runner at first, Becerra, could take off. 0-2 now. So Rufo has 2 strikeouts in this inning. He's looking for strikeout number 3. Rufo looks back towards first and out of the plate. Here's the 0-2. Pitch is high, runner's going to go. Becerra into second, sliding head first, but his hand went off the bag, and Anson was there with the tag, and that'll do it for the top of the third inning. 1 run comes in on 2 hits. An RBI single for Timo Becerra makes it a 3-0 game, but Becerra's out as he tries to steal second, and that ends the inning. We head now to the bottom of the third inning. Springfield has some work to do. Caden DeLozier, Isaiah Thomas, Taylor Holder, 3, 4, and 5, the meat of the order coming up here on the Drifters live stream. Caden DeLozier, Isaiah Thomas, Taylor Holder up for Springfield, facing off against Nathan DeShriver. So far, 3 hits for Springfield. They had the bases loaded last inning, no runs. First pitch to DeLozier, misses below the knees, 1-0. DeLozier so far, 1 for 1. He had an infield single to the right side. It was just a soft ground ball that Kiko Romero at first batted down, but DeLozier beat it out. He'll hit this one in the air towards left field, not very far. Dimitro comes over, makes the catch towards his right, and DeLozier's out on a fly out. He's now 1 for 2 as the first out is recorded here in the bottom of the third. So in steps Isaiah Thomas for the second time today. The first time he came up, he got jammed on a ball, sent a dribbler to the right side. Eli Kennel picked it up and fired it over to first, and Thomas was retired. Thomas crushes the ball to left field. Looking up, and it's off the top of the wall. Thomas digging for 2, and he'll stop at second. And man, that was right off the top of the wall. 358 feet, 96 miles per hour off the bat. And Thomas is into second with his 3rd double of the season, his 7th hit overall. So how about those numbers for Isaiah Thomas in his Drifters career? He now has 21 at-bats with 7 hits, and he has 3 doubles and a home run. So 4 of his 7 hits have gone for extra bases. Here's Taylor Holder with 1 out and a runner at second. Thomas slides back to second safely after Kennel came over from second to try to cover. I think that was the first time Isaiah Thomas has been picked up in his Drifters career. So that's probably the first time he's had to slide back safely since 2021 when he last played at Vanderbilt. He's playing with DeShriver now on the mound as the first pitch to Holder comes in for a strike on the outside part of the plate, 0-1. Holder, the first time he came up to the plate, he saw 3 pitches, and the third one was called for a strike. He went out for a backwards K, and that ended the first inning for Springfield. DeShriver looks back towards second after Thomas was dancing around at second. Looks like happy feet out there, just hopping around, toying with the pitcher. Here's the 0-1 to Holder. Comes in for a strike. 89 miles per hour down the heart of the plate, 0-2. Wind continues to gust out towards left field, and you got to think, how much more wind does it take for Isaiah Thomas to send that one over the wall? It literally hit the yellow on the top of the wall. He wasn't picking up then. 0-2 the count to Holder, though, with Thomas at second. Here's the pitch, and that one comes down and in, 1-2 now. Holder, the first time against Corvallis, he had a successful day, especially in that game in Corvallis. Had a couple of hard-hit balls as well as a couple of nice diving plays in Corvallis. He had one against the wall and one in right field in foul territory. The 1-2 outside, it's now 2-2 to Taylor Holder. The one that he caught against the wall, he jumped up and literally robbed a home run. I was very shocked that he even made that catch. I thought the ball was going to be gone over the wall. Either way, Holder impressed me defensively. The 2-2, chops towards the left side. Quinn hops up at third, fields the ball, then throws over to first, and Holder's out there. Isaiah Thomas flat on his butt after falling back towards the second base bag. It's a ground out for Taylor Holder. 2 outs now for Springfield with Thomas standing at second. 3-0 Corvallis with the lead after scoring 2 runs in the top of the second and 1 run in the top of the third. Springfield still searching for their first run today despite having 4 hits overall. Here's Ryan Hayes, who's one of those 4 hits today. He had a double last inning and led off. DeShriver steps off the mound, now hops back on the mound. Waiting the first pitch is Ryan Hayes. First pitch to Hayes, down and away, 1-0. So Ryan Hayes, after that double last inning, he now has 5 hits and 19 at-bats since coming back from that knee injury. He's been swinging the bat a little bit better. He does have 11 hits on the year and 60 at-bats. The 1-0 away, and it's now 2-0 to Hayes. Thomas slides into third as it looked like they tried to go back to second, and then he ended up beating the play. Excuse me, the pitcher missed the ball on the throwback, and then Thomas slid into third. It was a weird play anyways. Now runners 90 feet away from scoring for Springfield. The 2-0 to Hayes, that bounces in. Smith digs it out. 3-0. So only 2 times this year Springfield has swung the bat with a 3-0 count. We'll see if the green light is on for Ryan Hayes here. The 3-0. Hayes gets the green light and lines it down the left field line. It's fair, but cutting it off in left is Dimitro, keeping Hayes at first. Thomas comes in to score on the RBI single for Ryan Hayes, and the lead is now 3-1 for Corvallis. 5th hit of the game. It brings in the first run for Springfield, and that brings up Cade Chris, the first baseman. He singled his first time up, and now has Hayes at first. 2 outs in this 3-1 game. First pitch to Chris from DeShriver, away, and it's now 1-0. So Cade Chris, with that single, picked up his second hit in his last 16 at-bats on one of his coldest streaks of the year, looking to turn it around here in Springfield. The 1-0 away, and now Tanner Smith is going to go on. I want to go talk things over with DeShriver, the pitcher. Five hits for each team so far here in this game. Bottom of the 3rd inning. The 3-1 score right now for Corvallis is the opposite than we had the last time that Corvallis was here. It was 3-1 for Springfield in both games, and the Drifters won them both. Right now, Corvallis is leading. This is their first time leading here at Hamlin Sports Complex. The 2-0 pitch to Cade Chris, down in the dirt, 3-0 now. Currently the temperature in Springfield still 91 degrees, so it is a hot day out there. Chris gets the green light on the 3-0 and cuts through, and it's now 3-1. So now 4 batters have gotten the green light on the 3-0 count this season for Springfield. A rarity. Only 2 times in the entire season. Now 2 times back-to-back batters. The 3-1 in the zone for a strike. 3-2. That one just on the outside part of the plate. So we got a full count with 2 outs. Hayes leading off from first. The Shriver ready. Chris at the plate. The payoff pitch. Line to left field. No. Jumping play by the third baseman Tyler Quinn ends it. He hopped up and climbed the ladder. Look at the hops on Quinn. That'll do it for the bottom of the 3rd inning. 3-1 the score as Springfield gets 2 hits in the inning. None bigger than Ryan Hayes' RBI single after Isaiah Thomas's 1-out double. We head now to the 4th. Corvallis leading. It's going to be Lovelace, Johnstone, and Quinn. 9, 1, and 2 up for the Knights.
Play ball like a drifter, so you can train like a drifter. Come work out with our players at Elements Health Club here in Springfield. Elements is our workout partner, and they could be yours too. Visit them at any of their Lane County locations, including the one just 5 minutes down the road. Number 16, Ethan Lovelace.
Rufo back on the mound for the 4th inning for the Springfield Drifters as they trail 3-1 against the Corvallis Knights. Ethan Lovelace, the right fielder, steps up to the plate. He was at the plate last inning before Timo Becerra was caught stealing, and that ended the inning. And now Lovelace is going to head to first for a hit by pitch for the 2nd time today. He was hit by a pitch right on the shoulder from Rufo, and now we'll have to head to first again. Sure, Lovelace is going to talk to Rufo about that after the game as, well, Rufo and Lovelace, they both go to the University of Portland. And I'm thinking, hey, that's some pilot-on-pilot hatred right there happening. Either way, Lovelace is at first, probably with a sore right arm. And in steps Logan Johnstone, the center fielder. First pitch, fastball high and away. Might have been a pitch out with Hayes, the catcher. That's 1-0 to Johnstone. Johnstone today has reached base safely both times he's come to the plate. He had a double in the 2nd. That moved 2 runners into scoring position for the Knights, and he came in to score on the Tyler Quinn 2 RBI double. He bunts this down the third base line. Coming in is Soper, the third baseman. He has to eat as he has no play. Then threw it to second, and it was almost a wild throw, but Anson digged it out on just 1 hop. It looked like Soper was hesitating for a second. At second was Lovelace, and he was off the bag just probably about 2 or 3 steps left of the second base bag. That was enough for Soper to really just brighten the eyes and huck it to second. Either way, Anson picked it as the shortstop. And it's a bunt single for Logan Johnstone. 6th hit today for Corvallis as Lovelace moves over to second. 2 runners on, nobody out for the Knights. Still no action in the Springfield bullpen, so they're going to let Rufo work his way out of this jam. And now here's Tyler Quinn. Quinn going to show bunt two, gets it down the third base line. Soper comes in, throws to first, and Sitzman there was tagging, but his foot was off the bag, and by the time that he got it on the first base bag, Quinn had just tapped on the bag himself, and he beat out the throw. So back-to-back bunt singles for the Corvallis Knights will load the bases. And here's the dangerous Kiko Romero. Ryan Hayes, he's going to go talk things over with Rufo. I think the pair are going to chat about this situation. Rufo did have bases loaded all the way back in the first inning. He didn't allow a run then, but this is a little bit different of a situation, as back then there was just one out. Now there's no outs. He's going to have to try to get 3 outs without allowing a run in this 3-1 ball game in the top of the 4th inning. Been a little bit of a long game so far. We're an hour and 10 minutes into this one, and still nobody out in the 4th. Romero up for the 3rd time today. A strikeout and a hit by pitch prior. First pitch to Romero, down and away, 1-0. This is not the guy you want at the plate if you're Springfield. Romero has torn up the Drifters. Last time he was in this ballpark, he hit a home run to left field. Earlier today, he sent one over the wall. It was just slicing foul. 1-0 high on Romero, and it's now 2-0. His numbers on the year, 269 with 6 doubles, 5 home runs, 3 triples, and 26 RBIs. Can add to his RBI total here. The 2-0. Romero pops this in the air towards left field. Pretty deep. Holder-driven chase at the line. Makes the catch along the line. Tagging at third is Loveless, and he'll come in easily to score. And it's 4-1 for Corvallis on the sac fly by Kiko Romero. Holder did a good job in left field to catch the ball and fire it in quickly. Keeping Johnstone at second and Quinn at first. First out is recorded, but a run scores. 4-1 Corvallis with the lead. So this brings up Briley Knight. 1 out, 2 men on. The infield now shifts to double play depth with Anson covering a little closer to the second base bag with the left-handed hitter in Briley Knight. First pitch to Knight comes in for a strike. It's now 0-1. Springfield, early in the year, they hadn't turned too many double plays, but ever since that series against Portland, they started to turn two quite a bit. They haven't been picking up the wins, but they have been picking up double play balls. Could really go for one here. The 0-1 line to right field. It drops down in front of Thomas and right. They're going to hold the runner at third in Johnstone. And it's just a single for Briley Knight. Another hit in this inning for the Corvallis Knights. 3 hits in the inning, 8 hits in the game, and the bases are back to being loaded with still just 1 out. This will bring up Titus Dimitru. He has yet to get out today after walking in the first and then singling and coming in to score last inning in the 3rd. First pitch, high and away, and it's now 1-0. We finally start to see some action in the Springfield bullpen. It looks like a left-hander starting to warm up for the Drifters. So this might be the final inning for KJ Rufo here in the 4th. Hasn't had the success he had against Corvallis the first time he faced off against them. The 1-0 in for a strike, and it's now 1-1. Again, that first outing against Corvallis, it was here in a 3-1 victory. 5 innings pitched. He struck out 6 batters. He only walked 1 and only had 1 hit. A lot more runs and a lot more hits today. Slider drops in for a strike, and it's now 1-2. That one had some good movement that time from Rufo. And now he's a strike away from getting the second out of the inning. Corner of the infield is in. The 1-2 pitch. Reached for, chopped foul behind the plate. We'll do it one more time. There's a play at every bag or plate as the bases are loaded. Rufo shakes twice and now comes set. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, and the base is loaded. Here's the pitch. Ooh, it hit him. Dimitro is going to head to first, and coming in to score is Johnstone as the hit by pitch by KJ Rufo brings in the 5th run of the game for Corvallis, and the Knights extend their lead. Overall, it's another hit by pitch by Rufo. That's the 4th hit by pitch today. That's a costly one as it results in a run. Quinn moves over to third. Briley Knight over to second. And at first is Dimitru. Here's Eli Kennel now. 5-1 the score. 1 out. Bases still loaded. First pitch to Kennel. Just off the plate. 92-mile-per-hour fastball. That's now 1-0. In that first inning for KJ Rufo, he had 2 strikeouts and got out of a bases-loaded jam. He was really working the changeup then, but he hasn't thrown it too much today. This one's fouled away. It's now 1-1. Well, rather, he threw it a lot at the beginning of the game, and then he hasn't thrown it as much as the game has gone on. Now with a 1-1 count to Kennel, who today is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, 1 swinging and 1 looking. Here's the 1-1. That one outside, and it's now 2-1. And Kennel, he was probably the biggest, the biggest success for Rufo on that changeup because he threw a 69-mile-per-hour changeup to Kennel. And Kennel was well ahead of that one. Here's the 2-1. That one's high and away, and it got past Hayes, but staying at third is Quinn as the ball ricocheted off the backstop and back to Hayes quickly. It's 3-1. So now Rufo in danger of walking in a run after hitting a batter to bring in a run for Corvallis. 5-1 the score here in the top of the 4th. 2 runs so far in the inning for the Corvallis Knights. They scored 1 run in the 3rd and 2 runs in the 2nd. Springfield just 1 run in the bottom of the 3rd. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Rufo, and that's high, and that's going to be a walk and a run for the Corvallis Knights. Kennel heads to first, Dimitru over to second, Briley Knight over to third, and in to score is Tyler Quinn, the third baseman. 6-1 the score, and now Keith Hessler's going to go talk things over to Rufo, and this may be it for the right-hander. Rufo hands Hessler the ball, and that'll do it for Rufo. So we'll step aside and take a break here on the Drifters live stream. We'll let you know who's coming in for Springfield on the other half of this break. 6-1, Corvallis with the lead. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here at home on the Drifters live stream. So KJ Rufo's day is over, and now it's going to be the left-hander Peyton Childers from Yakima Valley College. Bases loaded, one out. Here's the first pitch to Tanner Smith, and it's drilled out towards center field. Kleckner stops at the track, makes the catch. Two runners are going to be tagging, and one coming in to score at third. It's Briley Knight. Heading over to third is Titus Dimitru. One pitch and a sac fly for Tanner Smith, the eighth batter of this inning. Drives in the fourth run in the inning, and it brings up Timo Becerra, the ninth batter now. 2 outs, 7-1 the score. Runners on the corners with Dimitru over at third and Kennel at first. Becerra today, a strikeout looking, and then a single and RBI last inning. First pitch to him, called a strike, and it's 0-1. So KJ Rufo now is responsible for 7 runs. His stat line is 3 1/3 inning pitch, 8 hits, 7 runs as of right now, although he is responsible for both runners on base, 3 walks, 4 hit by pitches, as well as 5 strikeouts. Becerra flares this over to right field. Thomas comes in, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So Rufo's final line is 3 1/3, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, and then 3 walks, the 4 hit by pitches, and 5 strikeouts overall. Corvallis, though, they score 4 runs in the inning on 3 hits, and 2 runners are left stranded. We head now to the bottom of the 4th inning. Springfield coming up to the plate. It's going to be Michael Soper, Ethan Sitzman, Cole Kleckner, 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Drifters, facing off against Nathan DeShriver. You're watching the Drifters here at home as they trail by 6.
Along the first and third baseline. These decks are available to reserve for you and your crew. If you're interested in booking a private group area, please stop by any Drifters ticket office. Number 9, Michael Soper.
(7-1) Corvallis with the lead as we begin the bottom of the 4th inning. Michael Soper, who's 0 for 1 today, steps up to the plate after flying out to the shortstop Becerra back in the 2nd. First pitch to Soper here in the 4th, inside, and it's now 1-0 to the 3rd baseman. So Soper, this is his 4th start since July 7th. He was a staple in the lineup at the beginning of the year and then has since seen less action. Definitely got to think that Soper, who's going to be with the Drifters till the end of the summer, he'll start to get a little bit more playing time with a lot of these players for Springfield leading the lineup in the next series or 2. Soper hits this ball hard to right field. Giving chase in right field is Loveless, and he'll make the catch. It was a tough play for Loveless, but on the run was able to track it down, and it was 95 off the bat of Soper. Ultimately, it found its way into the glove of Loveless, and the first out is recorded here in the bottom of the 4th. Ethan Sitzman now comes up to the plate. He walked in his first time up in the 2nd. That was it for him. He'll stand in facing off against DeShriver, who so far has only allowed 1 run on 5 hits for Springfield. First pitch to Sitzman, it's going to be high above the chest, and it's now 1-0. So yesterday, Corvallis and Springfield played. Corvallis won 9-4, but Springfield out-hit Corvallis. This ball bounces away, and it's now 2-0 to Sitzman. Springfield had 4 runs on 11 hits. That's it. Today they have 5 hits, just 1 run. 2-0 to Sitzman, high, and it's now 3-0. On the other side for Corvallis, they've scored 7 runs on 8 hits. think a big part too, though, was the 3 walks and 4 hit by pitches for Rufo. The 3-0 in for a strike, and it's now 3-1 to Ethan Sitzman. Walks and hit by pitches do extend innings, and Corvallis was able to take advantage. Sitzman, though, taking advantage of the ball thrown by DeShriver, and he'll head to first on a walk, his second walk today. And it turns over the lineup for Cole Kleckner, the leadoff hitter. Kleckner today 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out. Tanner Smith going to go talk things over with DeShriver. Right now, a left-hander starting to warm up in the Corvallis Knights bullpen. It's very interesting for Corvallis. They keep their entire pitching staff in the dugout, and then they only send people to warm up into the bullpen. Springfield, on the other hand, they have their entire bullpen sitting in the bullpen, like the benches are there like they're supposed to. Either way, it's a different in style. And now Kleckner stands in with a runner at first and 1 out. He'll ground this up the middle, and it gets through for a base hit. Sitzman's going to stop at second. It's a 1-out single for Cole Kleckner, his first hit today. Extends the inning for Springfield, and it moves a runner in scoring position in Ethan Sitzman with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. 7-1, Corvallis with the lead after scoring 2 runs in the second, 1 run in the third, and 4 runs in the 4th. Springfield did score 1 run last inning. Now they're threatening for more here in the 4th. Here's Trevor Anson now. He was hit by a pitch and then struck out. First pitch to Anson. Thought about it, didn't pull the trigger, and it works out to his favor. 1-0 as the pitch missed away. DeShriver ready for the 1-0. Looks in, and here's the pitch. Anson reaches for a pitch and pops it in the air. Foul. 1-1. So in the last 4 games, Trevor Anson's been batting .412, and he's raised his batting average to .232. He still hasn't had a hit today, but he's on that 4-game hit streak with a couple of multi-hit performances sprinkled in there. His first hit today would be huge right here. The 1-1 in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Anson from Wilsonville, Oregon, and also Cole Kleckner, who's standing at first in Wilsonville as well. So you get the Wilsonville pair back-to-back in the order for Springfield. Here's the 1-2 to Anson. Lines this towards the right center field alleyway. Cutting it off in right center is Lovelace. Tagging at second is Sitzman. The throw from Lovelace to third is offline, and Sitzman slides in headfirst safely. And now runners are going to be on the corners with 2 outs for the Drifters here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Corvallis with a 7-1 lead. So here's Caden Delosier now, 1 for 2 today with a single in the first and a fly out in the third. The left-handed hitter steps into the box to face off against the righty and DeShriver. First pitch to Delosier, called a strike, and it's 0-1. 87-mile-per-hour pitch from DeShriver there. Here's the 0-1 now to Delosier as he'll hit this one towards left field. It's slicing foul and just lands foul. Little left of the chalk there. Delosier's going to have to go back to the plate. Kleckner back to first, Sitzman back to third, and it's 0-2 to Delosier with runners on the corners. Delosier spent the past 2 years at Lynn Benton Community College, and he just hit for .302 this past season. He's still looking for his next home next year, but he's looking the D1 route. He's quite the bat at the plate. Here's the 0-2. Looked at, called, strike 3. DeShriver gets out of the inning, and Springfield can't score. Runners are left stranded at the corners. Just 1 hit for Cole Kleckner, and a flyout by Anson and a strikeout looking by Delosier ends the inning. We head now to the 5th inning. Corvallis leading by 6 at 7-1. You're watching the Drifters here on the Drifters live stream.
The Papa's Pizza Mini Pizza Giveaway. If you're seated in Section 2, congratulations! You'll be receiving a coupon for a free mini pizza courtesy of Papa's Pizza. Now batting number 16, Ethan Loveless.
Fifth inning now, and there's going to be a new catcher behind the plate. It's Ryan Fowler as Peyton Childers is on the mound, and the first pitch is going to be grounded to the right side. Picking it up and throwing it towards first base is Ethan Sitzman, and that'll get Ethan Loveless out on a ground out. So Loveless started last inning, got hit by a pitch, and 9 batters came up for the Corvallis Knights. They ultimately ended up scoring 4 runs, and now Loveless starts here in the 5th with a ground out. The first out is recorded in the 7-1 ball game. Logan Johnstone now steps up to the plate for the 4th time today. The pitch from Childers, a 72-mile-per-hour curveball that dropped 13 inches, just a little bit too low, and it's now 1-0. The 1-0 is going to be grounded right up the middle. Cutting it off at shortstop is Anson. A throw on the run, and it was off the line as it took Cade Chris a little bit too far left of the bag. It would have been a very athletic play for Anson at shortstop. And now Johnstone's at first with an infield hit. 9th hit today for the Corvallis Knights. Pretty efficient. 9 hits and 7 runs, and now here's Tyler Quinn, who has 2 of those hits, a double and a single. The first, though, a 2 RBI double. First pitch, down and in, and it's now 1-0. So Ryan Fowler's now behind the plate. You go from Ryan Hayes to Ryan Fowler. Fowler, a catcher from Tacoma Community College. The 1-0 drops in. It's a strike, and it's now 1-1. So he gets the catch for Peyton Childers. Kind of fun for us because Peyton Childers, Ryan Fowler, and I all roomed together in Kelso, Washington when we were up in Cowlitz. So the former roommates get to now work together here in the field. It's fouled away, and it's now 1-2. Heading back to first is Johnstone with 1 out in the 7-1 game. Quinn at the plate. He'll be heading into his senior year at Pacific University in Forest Grove. The 1-2 from Childers, that one's high, and it's now 2-2. Quinn, originally from Hawaii, had a really good season this past year at Pacific. He batted .325. He was second on the team with 54 total hits. 2-2. Curveball waited for by Quinn, and he slapped it deep to left. It drops fair. Tagging on third is Johnstone, and he'll come in to score as the throw comes in just late. Over to second on the play is Quinn. It's an RBI double, and it's now 8-1 for the Corvallis Knights. It was a 71-mile-per-hour curveball thrown by Childers, but it was 94 off the bat of Quinn. It's another RBI double for the third baseman. Brings in Johnstone all the way from first. And this will bring up Kiko Romero. So Tyler Quinn now 3 for 4 today with 3 RBIs and a run. And Romero's at the plate 0 for 2 today with a hit by pitch and a strikeout. First pitch to Romero, away, and it's now 1-0. He did have a sac fly actually in his last at bat, so 0 for 1. Does have that RBI. Has a chance for an RBI here if he can get his first hit of the game. 8-1, Corvallis with the lead here in the top of the 5th. Swing and a miss from the batter in Romero, and that's the second time Peyton Childers has lost his hat. 1-1. These are new uniforms for the Springfield Drifters. It's the Columbia blue jerseys with the Columbia blue hats. A little bit navy blue on the brim of the hats, or rather royal blue for the Drifters. The 1-1, curveball drops in, just a little bit high and inside. 2-1 now from Childers. Players, though, were complaining a little bit about the hats, at least in the pregame batting practice. They wish that they were fitted hats instead of the sized hats. These are small, medium, or large, extra large. As Romero cuts through the 2-1, and it's 2-2. Maybe if they had the fitted hat, then keep it on the head of Childers. Either way, it's popped off twice. He readjusts the hat there and shakes his head a couple of times. Saw John Jacopine this season. He's lost his hat several times throwing the ball. It's the first time we've seen somebody other than John have that happen. 2-2, Romero waits on a curveball, sends it deep towards left field. Holder in the corner, makes the catch on the track, and he'll fire it in to third at Soper. Staying at second is Quinn, and it was just a fly ball by Romero that just kept on going down the line. Ultimately ended up 303 feet. The Holder was there to catch it on the track, and it brings up Briley Knight with 2 outs and a runner at second. 8-1, Corvallis with the lead here in the top of the 5th. Romero still no hits today. He had been tearing up the Drifters, but not today. No hits in 4 at-bats. First pitch to Briley Knight, down and away, and it's now 1-0. Briley Knight now up for the 4th time. He singled twice and grounded out once. The 1-0 tonight, just off the plate, and it's now 2-0 as Childers loses hat again. I think you got to tuck it at that point. There are little tags on the inside of the back of the hat. You can maybe take that out to maybe try to thicken it up a little bit. Either way, it's just falling off his head. Pitch comes in, away, and it's now 3-0 to Briley Knight. On deck is Titus Dimitri, the left fielder. He has yet to get out today. Childers, though, he's trying to retire Knight here and get out of the top of the 5th with just 1 run coming in. Here's the 3-0. Knight gets the green light, but he grounds it foul, and it's 3-1. Seen that a couple of times today. Actually, both teams being aggressive on the 3-0 counts. Worked in Corvallis' favor earlier on an RBI hit. Did work for Springfield, although they weren't able to pull together some runs. They were able to pull together some hits. 3-1, called a strike. 73-mile-per-hour curveball from Childers, and the count is full. Back-to-back strikes thrown. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner at second. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Who's going to win? Childers ready. Here's the pitch. Just below the knees, and Knight wins the battle. He'll head to first. Now 2 runners are aboard for Dimitri, the left fielder. So Quinn standing at second after the RBI double that brought in Logan Johnstone. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead. They've scored a run in every single inning since the second. It was a scoreless first inning for KJ Rufo, but the Knights have poured on the runs. Pitch is foul tipped as Childers loses that one more time, and it's 0-1 to Dimitru. Either way, the new hats and new uniforms look really good on this Drifters team. Corvallis, they've gotten to actually see Springfield debut the new uniforms twice. This time they are doing it on the road. The 0-1 away, and it's now 1-1. So Corvallis gets to see Springfield whip out these uniforms at home. Los Vagabundos uniforms, the Columbia Blue. On that 14-2 loss in Corvallis earlier this year, it was the first time Springfield had worn the gray uniforms. The 1-1, fastball inside, low, and it's now 2-1. Obviously, that first time these two teams played and the new uniforms were unveiled, 14-0, Corvallis led after 6. Didn't go Springfield's way, and right now it's 8-1. The 2-0, below the knees, 3-1. Maybe Springfield should pick a different team to debut new uniforms against, as they're trailing by 7 here. Three balls, one strike. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled away by Dimitru. 3-2. Wind has died down here at Hamlin Sports Complex. The flag in center field. Just a slight breeze out to the left, but pretty much straight down. 8 hits today for Corvallis. They've had 2 so far in this inning. Riley Knight standing at first after a walk. Quinn at second after the double. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the payoff pitch. Lined on one hop up the middle. Ethan Sitzman picks it up at second, throws over to Cade Christ at first, and the play is made, and the inning is over. 2 hits overall for Corvallis in the inning. None bigger than the RBI double by Tyler Quinn. It extends the lead now to 7. It's 8-1 Corvallis as we're halfway through this game and head to the bottom of the 5th. Springfield coming up to the plate. It's going to be Isaiah Thomas, Taylor Holder, and now Ryan Fowler coming up for the Drifters. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here at home on the Drifters live stream. So it's a new pitcher on the mound for the Corvallis Knights. It's going to be the left-hander Will Clark. No, not the Hall of Famer Will Clark, but the left-hander from Pacific University. It's going to be Isaiah Thomas, Taylor Holder, and Ryan Fowler coming up for the Drifters. It's going to be 4, 5, and 6 facing off against the new left-hander. First pitch to Isaiah Thomas inside, and it's now 1-0. Unfortunately, right now, Point Streak, which is the website that tallies up all the statistics in the WCL, they're undergoing site maintenance as Thomas fouls us away 1-1. And so their servers are not up right now, and so I can't really tell you who Will Clark is, or rather what his numbers are this season. I can tell you, though, that he went 6-3 this past year at Pacific University, and now he's pitching for the Corvallis Knights. The 1-1 off speed drops a little high on Thomas, and it's now 2-1 to the right fielder today, who is 1 for 2 with a double and run back in the third. The 2-1 to Thomas guides this in the air. Foul territory, lands foul. It's now 2-2. Clark originally attended St. Louis University before heading over to Pacific University, so he made the D1 to D3 jump. Kind of the opposite from Ethan Sitzman, who made the D3 to D1 jump, actually to the same school, St. Louis University. The 2-2 to Thomas, away, high fastball. It's now 3-2. Ultimately, though, he transferred to Pacific and mentioned the 6-3 record, 14 starts on the year, and now he's working out of the pen with Corvallis. 3-2, grounded hard on the ground towards the left side. Picking up is the third baseman, Quinn, and he throws over to first, retires Thomas, and Thomas is now 1 for 3 today, and it brings up Taylor Holder, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking and a ground out. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Springfield, 6 hits, just 1 run. They've been scattered. They've had opportunities. They just haven't been able to score. First pitch to Holder, fouls it away, and it's now 0-1. So Holder now against the Corvallis Knights, his hometown team. He's 3 for 13 on the series. The 0-1, he'll line this towards the right center field alley, pretty deep, and it's off the ground and off the wall. Holder's digging for 2, picking it up and right as Lovelace as the throw comes into Kennel at the second base position. Holder's into second with a 1-out double, and finally barrels up a ball that drops, puts a runner in scoring position for the Drifters with 1 out in this 8-1 ball game. That was 99 miles per hour off the bat of Taylor Holder. And that's what he's been doing all year. He's been barreling up balls. They just haven't really fallen for him. That time, gets a hard contact, sends it to right center, opposite field. And it goes right in the alleyway off the dirt and off the wall. Here's Ryan Fowler now, the catcher. He's coming up for the first time today, replacing Ryan Hayes. First pitch to Fowler, 64 mile per hour breaking ball from Will Clark. And it's 0-1. Wow, what a drop in pitch speed from Clark there. 64. Thought KJ Rufo's 69 was pretty low, but 64 does it. The 0-1 to Fowler pops this one in the air in the infield. Calling it off his Kennel at second base. He'll make the catch in the infield. He'll throw it back into Clark, and back at second as Holder. Second out is recorded here in the bottom of the 5th. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead. Here's Cade Chris now. He has a chance for an RBI. 1 for 2 today with a single in the second. Then he lined out to Tyler Quinn at third in the 3rd inning. There's a hard hit ball by Cade Chris, but Quinn at third hopped up and climbed the ladder to make the catch. I thought it was going to left field. Quinn said otherwise. First pitch to Cade Chris, bounces in. It hit the umpire, but heading over to third is Taylor Holder, and it's a 1-0 count. Rick Fratis is going to be the home plate umpire today. Scott Ginger, the field umpire today. That one brushed up Fratis as it went off the ground and then hit the mask. Says he's okay. 1-0 the count to Cade Chris as he jokes a little bit with Fratis. Clark ready for the 1-0 pitch. Here it is. That one runs away. Off speed, 2-0. That one came in at 66 miles per hour. Man, these off-speed pitches by Clark really slowing it down. The 2-0 called a strike, and it's now 2-1. Normally you will see that from Division III pitchers. They will have lower velocity, and they can locate their pitchers really well. This one's away in the dirt, 3-1 to Cade Chris. Very big, weak contact pitchers they are. Nonetheless, Clark so far has only allowed a double to Holder, who's standing at third. The 3-1 pitch, high and away, and now Cade Chris is aboard with a walk. He'll put runners on the corners for the Springfield Drifters. 2 outs in this 8-1 ball game in the bottom of the 5th. And here steps Michael Soper. Soper 0 for 2 today with a pop-up in the infield, and then the last time he came up, it was last inning. He led off with a hard-hit ball to right field. Ultimately, Ethan Lovelace in right tracked it down, and Soper was retired. First pitch to Soper, high above the chest, and it's now 1-0. That ball that he hit, though, was 99 miles per hour off the bat, and it was only a 79 mile per hour pitch, so he really got a lot on it. Ultimately, though, Lovelace, a good outfielder, tracking it down. Soper will chop this up the middle. Kennel fields it, taps on second, and the inning is over. 1 runner's left stranded at third, and Taylor Holder, after his 1-out double. Cade Chris is out at second after a walk with 2 outs. We head now to the 6th inning. 8-1, Corvallis with the lead. It's going to be Eli Kennel, Tanner Smith, Timo Becerra coming up for the Corvallis Knights here on the Drifters live stream. So it's a new pitcher on the mound for the Springfield Drifters. It's going to be the right-hander, Hunter Dryden. First pitch from Dryden, cut on and missed, and it's now 0-1. Eli Kennel at the plate now. It's going to be his 4th time up. 2 strikeouts and a walk for the Oregon State commit. The 0-1, swing and a miss. It's now 0-2. Hunter Dryden comes in, fires back-to-back strikes. And here's Dryden facing off against the Corvallis Knights for the 2nd time this season. He got the start in that loss against Corvallis in Corvallis earlier in late June. The 0-2 outside, and it's now 1-2. He was the starter in that disastrous 14-2 loss for Springfield. Obviously looking for success out of the pen today. 1-2, Kennel grounds it foul. Do it one more time. Big thing for Dryden in that outing. He walked 4 batters, and ultimately he ended up not being able to locate his slider, and that was a big thing for him. He's a heavy fastball pitcher. You'll see him throw that fastball maybe 50-60% of the time with his 4-seam and 2-seam fastball rather. But his slider has been there to supplement the heater. Just wasn't working then. 1-2 away, and now 2-2 to Kennel. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Dryden gets a strikeout. Good way to come out of the pen, and now the first out is recorded here in the 6th. 8-1, Corvallis with the lead. 1 out, and here's Tanner Smith with nobody on. Smith today, a line out, a strikeout, and a sac fly, so an RBI to his name, and that's it. Facing off against the new right-handed pitcher in Hunter Dryden. First pitch comes down low and inside, 1-0. Dryden up to 93 miles per hour there. So we mentioned Will Clark, who was the pitcher for the Corvallis Knights last inning. He was about 82 miles per hour for his fastball, and 64 we got as low for the changeup, or curveball rather, as it's now 2-0 as that pitch missed low and inside. He's a Division III pitcher. Now you go to Hunter Dryden, who's a Division III pitcher, and he's throwing 93 miles per hour. This is going to be fouled away by Smith. It's 2-1. So that's the diversity that you get in Division III baseball. The one thing that I've learned since being in the WCL and also in the California Collegiate League last summer is that these Division III baseball players can play. The 2-1 high slider, and it's now 3-1 to Tanner Smith. And absolutely, Hunter Dryden's one of them. He's been really impressive this season for the Drifters on the mound. He's had his ups and downs, but the ups have been really high. A 3-1 pitch down and away, and it's going to be a walk for Tanner Smith. He's aboard for the first time today. So bring up Timo Becerra now. He's singled back in the 3rd, a strikeout and fly out sandwich that. Runner at first, 8-1 Corvallis with the lead. The Knights have scored a run in every single inning since the 2nd. They were held scoreless in the 1st, but since then, 2 runs, 1 run, 4 runs, and 1 run since in each inning after. First pitch to Becerra, down and in, 91 mile per hour fastball from Dryden, 1-0. Looks like a few pitchers in the Drifters bullpen starting to warm up a little bit. I expect Dryden to maybe go 1 inning, maybe 2 at the max. I believe this is going to be like an in-game bullpen session for Dryden, as we'll fire in a strike. 1-1, 90 mile per hour fastball there from Dryden. We saw him do this a couple weeks ago. He came into the game through 1 inning, and that was it. They're trying to utilize him to the best of his ability, and whether it be a starter or coming out of the bullpen, they're going to try to utilize him, especially with the pitching being as thin as it is now for Springfield. Times is going to be called by Becerra at the plate. 1-1 the count with 1 out and a runner at first. Dryden ready. Here's the pitch. Down and away. Gets past Ryan Fowler. Heading over to second is Smith. And now a runner is in scoring position with 1 out. It's a 2-1 count for Timo Becerra. So Fowler can't stop it. 3-1 the count. Dryden looking to prevent a run from scoring. Here's the pitch to Becerra, and it's going to miss, and it's actually now 3-1 there after that pitch. It was 2-1 prior, excuse me. It's been a long game for sure. We're approaching 2 hours now as we hit the 2-hour mark, as I said that. Got this game going just a little after 6:35, and we're there right now. 3-1 is going to be hit out towards right field, and slicing foul and landing foul is the ball. 3-2. Ten hits today for Corvallis, 8 runs, and they were able to take advantage of KJ Rufo, who walked 3 batters and hit 4 batters with pitches, and you allow 7 free 90s, as Coach Richards would say. Doesn't result in a lot of success. The 3-2 going to be grounded towards the left side. Anderson picks it up at shortstop, throws it high to first, but Cade Christ able to reach up, keep his foot on the bag, and make the catch. Out on the ground out is Becerra. Heading over to third on the play was Tanner Smith, and now a runner at third. 2 outs for the Corvallis Knights as they lead by 7. It's 8-1. This brings up the 9-hole hitter, Ethan Lovelace. His first 2 times up, he was hit by a pitch. So we mentioned the 4 hit by pitches. Lovelace is half of them. First pitch from Dryden, 92-mile-per-hour fastball called for a strike at the knees, and it's 0-1. Lovelace came up again in the 5th inning and ultimately grounded out, so 0 for 1 today with 2 hit by pitches and 2 runs. That one high and inside. Fowler just kept it in front of him, and it's now 1-1. Fowler looked a little bit unsettled behind the plate, or rather not ready for that one. I think it caught him off guard. Here's the 1-1. Allen's going to be popped out towards right center field. Kleckner coming over in center, cuts it off in the alleyway, makes the catch, and the inning is over. Smith is left stranded at third after a 1-out walk. Corvallis is left scoreless on the board for the first time since the 1st inning. We head now to the bottom of the 6th. 8-1, the Knights leading. You're watching the Drifters here at home on the Drifters live stream. Ethan Sitzman, Cole Kleckner, Trevor Anson, 9, 1, and 2 coming up for Springfield. They won the score as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning. Ethan Sitzman, the 9-hole hitter, steps up to face off against Will Clark. First pitch to Sitzman is going to be a fastball called for a strike, 0-1. Sitzman today has yet to register an at-bat as he's walked twice, has been left stranded on base both times. The 0-1 to him was a half swing that he cut through, and then it's now 0-2. It's called for a strike. Clark now working in his 2nd inning after he replaced Nathan DeShriver, the starter for the Knights. The 0-2 to Sitzman. He waits on an off-speed pitch, fouls it away. We'll do it one more time. So Will Clark is very interesting because he throws a 82 mile per hour fastball, and then a breaking ball that we've seen as low as 64. The 0-2, Sitzman got cut through it, and that one was up to 86 miles per hour, and I think that was why Sitzman was buckled up a little bit. He was seeing a ball that got down below 70 miles per hour, and then he saw an 86 mile per hour heater. It was a little bit high. Sure, it was a little maybe out of the zone, but Sitzman cut through it fully and it brings up Cole Kleckler, the leadoff hitter for the Drifters, as they trail by 7. Kleckler's going to bunt this down the third base line. Barehanding it is Quinn. He throws it to first. Digging it out is Romero, and they make the play. What a web gem by Tyler Quinn. Able to just barehand it and then huck it over towards first. Maybe not a web jam, but able to maybe grab it with the web of his hand and then throw it to first. Either way, Romero gets credit at first as well with a heck of a stretch. Able to keep the foot on the bag. That's a very exciting second out here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Trevor Anderson now. First pitch inside, and it's now 1-0. Anderson today, a strikeout and a flyout, as well as being hit by a pitch. 1-0. Comes in for a strike on the outside part of the plate. 1-1. Anderson's on a 4-game hit streak, but has yet to record a hit today. The 1-1 fouls it back, and it's now 1-2. Again, he's been swinging the bat really well as of late. Trying to get back on pace where he was this past year at Seattle University. He hit .304 there this past season. The 1-2, though, gets called for a strike 3, 85 miles per hour from the pitcher in Clark, and that'll do it for Anderson. It's a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts for Will Clark. We head now to the 7th inning. 8-1, the Corvallis Knights leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here on the Drifters live stream.
Opportunity tonight to draw your attention to the outfield and some recognition of the sponsors and donors making the 2022 Drifters inaugural season possible. Their contributions to this season are greatly appreciated. Pitching for the Drifters, number 37, Yashua Yakupin.
As we begin the 7th inning, it's another new pitcher on the mound for the Springfield Drifters. It's going to be number 33, Ja Yakupin. He's the right-hander from Bushnell University, playing here at his home ballpark. First pitch from Yakupin, and on cue, his hat falls off. We were talking about that earlier with Peyton Childers. Said that Yakupin was the only pitcher that had his hat fall off on the mound the entire season. And really, just the first pitch, he does it. The hat falls off. The 0-1 now, the hat falls off again. Sitzman diving play at second base. He'll pick it up, throw to first, and the play is made to get Logan Johnstone. A 4-3 ground out for the Corvallis Knights to start here on the top of the 7th. 8-1, the Knights with the lead. Nobody on and 1 out now for Tyler Quinn. So 2 pitches and 2 times the hat has fallen off of Yakupin. We'll set the over-under at 8 right now, but we'll see how long we get to that point. First pitch, down and in, and the hat falls off again. 3 pitches, 3 falling off, and I think that the over-under of 8 might be over. We'll just have to see how many pitches Yakupin throws as the 1-0 is fouled away. Hat on the floor again. 1-1 the count to Tyler Quinn, who's 3 for 4 today. 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, and a single and a run. Pretty stellar offensive performance for the third baseman. Curveball drops in for a strike, and Jacopine has yet to throw a pitch where his hat has not fallen off. I think these Drifters players need some fitted hats, especially with these new uniforms. The 1-2 bounces away. 2-2. Hat fell off again, so we're 4 pitches into this at bat and 2 pitches prior. So 6 pitches total, and 6 times the hat has fallen off of Jacopine's head. Everyone's squared away after the pass ball from Jacopine. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Popped in the air, foul territory. Chris giving chase, and then it lands foul. Did the 2-2 again. The hat on the ground. 7 pitches, 7 times. I feel like maybe I'll have to stop mentioning it because I feel like it's just going to become common at that point that every single pitch his hat's going to fall off. The windup and 2-2 pitch. Reached for, sent out towards center field. Kleckner sprinting in, makes the catch on the run, and Quinn's out on a flyout. That was the 8th pitch, and the 8th time the hat flew off of Jacopine, so we're right at the over-under of 8. Brings up Kiko Romero. 2 outs, nobody on for the Corvallis Knights as they lead 8-1. Romero today, he's hitless. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, had a sac fly in the 4th. Other than that, a flyout and a strikeout. First pitch comes in just below the knees, and it's now 1-0. The hat fell off, so we're over the over-under of 8. And I thought the original fitted hats were a problem for Jacopine. These unfitted hats really causing him trouble. Bounces in, and it's now 2-0. So Romero hitless today after going 7 for 15 in his 4 games prior against Springfield. Here's the 2-0. That one's missed into the glove of Ryan Fowler. It's now 2-1. So Fowler came in today behind the plate. He came in for Ryan Hayes. Seen that a couple of times with Ryan Hayes as he's worked his way back from that knee injury. He was also brushed up a little bit with that ball that was fouled off his leg. Romero gets jammed up inside, fouls it off 2-2. So Jacopine a strike away from making this a 1-2-3 inning for the Corvallis Knights offensively. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead. Jacopine ready. The windup. The pitch. Bounces in and then hit Romero right on the nose. Sure, that's a little bit of a funny play for him. You can see a smirk on his face as he steps back in. It's a full count now. Jacopine, the only drifter still from Bushnell University on this roster. 3-2, wind out towards center field. Kleckner moves over to his left a few steps, makes the catch, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 inning for Jacopine. We head now to the bottom of the 7th. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead after a 1-2-3 inning offensively. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here at home. Delosier, Thomas, and Holder coming up.
batting, number 28, Hayden Delozier.
Seventh inning stretch is over, and the Drifters are coming up to hit now as they trail 8-1 here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Caden Delozier steps up to the plate, facing off against Will Clark. And the lefty-on-lefty matchup, the first pitch comes in and hits Delozier. Delozier had a couple of pitches earlier today that brushed him up inside, almost hit him. That time it did clip the leadoff hitter here in the seventh. And the leadoff man aboard for the Drifters at first after the hit-by pitch. Man, how many hit-by pitches have we had today? That is hit-by pitch number 6 on the game. We had 4 earlier and then 2 now. Here's the first one to Thomas and make it hit by pitch number 7. He gets brushed up on the knee and he'll head to first. Delozier over to second. So Clark, back-to-back pitches with hit-by pitches to start here in the 7th. He had a really good 5th inning where he only allowed a double to Taylor Holder and a walk to Cade Chris. Got 3 outs and didn't allow a run, and then he was a 1-2-3 6th inning with 2 strikeouts. I'd say that's borderline elite, and now 2 hit-by pitches, and here's Taylor Holder, Delozier at second, and Thomas at first. First pitch to Holder, he swings and fouls this back, 0-1. So we just mentioned it, Holder, the first time he faced off against Will Clark, he doubled. Prior to that, he struck out looking and grounded a hard ground ball to third base. Quinn was able to pick it up and fire it over to first to get out Holder. Clark ready at the waist. Here's the 0-1. Holder waits for an off-speed pitch, fouls it away, and it's now 0-2. Seven hits today for Springfield. They've had chances like they do right now. They just haven't been able to score. They had the bases loaded, 1 out. They did not score. They had runners in scoring positions earlier today. Back in the 4th, they had a runner at third. They were not able to execute and score. Again, Holder was there in the 5th, and they didn't score as the 0-2 is away, and it's now 1-2 to Holder. If you go back all the way to the 1st inning, Springfield had runners at second and third, and they didn't score either. You got to think that's haunting the Springfield team. They've been able to get 7 hits. They just haven't been able to get the hits with runners in scoring position. 1-2, drops in for a strike. 67-mile-per-hour curveball from Clark, and it buckles up Holder. It's his second strikeout looking today, and the first out's recorded here in the 7th. Third strikeout now for Will Clark, and it's the second backwards K for him. This brings up Ryan Fowler now. He's 0 for 1 with a pop-up in the infield. It's his second at bat today after pinch hitting for Ryan Hayes. The Ryan for Ryan transaction. First pitch to Fowler, in there for a strike at the knees, and it's now 0-1. So Fowler, a lefty hitter. He throws with his right hand as a catcher. In high school, he was a switch hitter, but once he got to Tacoma Community College, they kept him on the left side. Found that they could hit the ball a little bit more efficiently if he was just a left-handed hitter. The 0-1 sends this deep towards right center field. Coming over is Johnstone in the alley, makes the catch. One runner is going to try to tag in Delozier to third after Thomas went about halfway between first and second after tagging at first. So it's a fly out by Fowler. This will bring up Cade Chris. Runners on the corners, 2 outs in this 8-1 ball game. Corvallis is currently leading. Cade Chris today, 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Has a chance for an RBI here. First pitch to Chris, pops this in the air towards center field. Johnstone comes in a few steps, calls everybody off. Still coming in, makes the catch, and the inning is over. No hits for Springfield, just 2 straight hit-by pitches to start, but then a strikeout and back-to-back flyouts to center field. End of the inning for Springfield as they leave runners stranded at the corners. We head now to the 8th inning. 8-1, the Corvallis Knights leading. You're watching the Drifters here at home on the Drifters live stream.
You head down now before they wrap up shop at the end of the night. At the end of the eighth. And while you're down there, don't forget to grab one last treat. These sweets. Number 13, Riley Knight.
Riley Knight coming up to the plate to face off against John Jacopine. It's going to be Knight, Dimitru, and Eli Kennel, 4, 5, and 6, with Jacopine on the mound in his second inning of relief. First pitch comes in high, and it's 1-0. The hat fell off of Jacopine, so every single pitch that he's thrown, the hat has fallen off. We have set the over-under now for just one, and that is how many pitches the hat will actually stay on. As the 1-0 comes in, away, and it's now 2-0, because so far, every single time Jacopine's thrown a pitch, the hat's fallen off. And we'll be really surprised, honestly, if he actually has a pitch where it stays on. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one's high. It's now 3-0. Jacopine had a 1-2-3 7th inning. Johnstone grounded out. Quinn flew out, and then Romero flew out. But so far here in the 8th inning, as Corvallis leads 8-1, 3 straight balls thrown from Jacopine. Here's the 3-0. Comes in for a strike, and it's now 3-1. Looked like it foul-tipped it off the leg of Fowler. Man, Fowler's been beat up a little bit this season behind the plate. He's had several foul-tipped balls go off of him. That one wasn't the hardest tapped ball from Riley Knight. But Fowler shakes it off, and now the umpire goes to talk things over with Jacopine. So that last pitch, Jacopine, his hat did not fall off, so the over-under is at 1, and that was the 1. So we'll have to see if he goes over now. The 3-1 away, and now Riley Knight's aboard with a walk. So bring up Titus Dimitru. Dimitru today, a single back in the 3rd, hit by pitch in the 4th. Other than that, a walk and a ground out. Fowler going to go talk things over with Jacopine on the mound. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead here in the top of the 8th. 10 hits today for the Corvallis Knights. They have not had a hit since the 6th inning, and they have not had a run, or actually they have not had a hit since the 5th inning, and they have not had a run also since the 5th inning. So back-to-back hitless and scoreless innings for Springfield. It was Hunter Dryden and then Jacopine last inning. We start here with a walk, so still no hits for Corvallis since that 5th, where they scored 1 run. Jacopine going to have to work out of the stretch now as the first pitch comes in for a strike. 1-1 to Dimitru. I believe the hat may have stayed on that time. We'll have to see one more time in the replay. 0-1 the count to Dimitru as it comes in for a strike, and it's now 0-2. We get a little bit of a delay on the replay, but the hat did fall off, so we still are at the over-under of 1. This is the fun we're having in an 8-1 ball game in the 8th inning. The 0-2 pitch down and away, and it's now a curveball that misses 1-2. Sky beginning to get a little bit more dark as the sun's beginning to set a little bit here in Springfield. It was a hot day today. The 1-2 going to be popped in the air, shallow center field. Anson back at the shortstop position, but called off was Sitzman, or rather he was called off by Sitzman at second. He'll make the catch in shallow center field, and that'll do it for Dimitru. So we'll bring up Eli Kennel, the second baseman, runner at first, 1 out. Here in this 8-1 ball game with Corvallis leading in the top of the 8th. Kennel, the lefty, stands in. He has the sombrero today with a walk. 3 strikeouts, looking to avoid the golden sombrero. First pitch comes in, a fastball away off the plate, and it's now 1-0. We've seen several players for Springfield or their opponent this year get the sombrero. And here's the 1-0 pitch. That one high, and it's now 2-0. Kennel overall now just 2 for 11 in the series against Springfield. Pitch away, and it's now 3-0. So he walked back in the 4th, has a chance to walk here. Yak being ready. Here's the 3-0. Comes in for a strike, 3-1. Here's the 3-1, and that's going to be lined out deep to left field. Holder back near the track, makes the catch. He'll throw it in. Heading back to first is Briley Knight, and the second out is recorded here in the top of the 8th inning. Corvallis on the verge of winning their 10th straight game. Springfield on the verge of losing another game. They've only won 2 in their past 11, and they're on the verge of now dropping their 9th in their last 12. It should be 10th in their last 12. Either way, this Springfield team, they've been spiraling downward as Corvallis has been spiraling upward. Ground ball to the left side. Anson flips it over to Sitzman at second, and that'll do it for the top of the 8th inning. The over-under of 1 on the hat stays at 1, and that'll do it for the top of the 8th inning. Runner left at first. That'll do it for the 8th. We'll head down to the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead. Will Clark still on the mound for the Corvallis Knights as they lead 8-1. Michael Soper coming up to the plate. Ethan Sitzman on deck and Cole Kleckner in the hole. It's going to be 8-9-1 for the Drifters as Soper steps up to the plate. 0 for 3 today. First pitch to Soper, in there for a strike, 0-1. So Soper, who came in today with just a 191 batting average, still hasn't gotten a hit. The 0-1 away, and it's now 1-1. I think it's got to be hard for Michael Soper as, well, this is only his 4th start since July 7th, and we're already to the late part of the month. It's July 27th now, and so in 20 days, only 4 starts. Ball bounces away, and it's now 2-1. And you got to think that's hard for a hitter like Soper, who is batting below the Mendoza line right now, to try to get into any sort of rhythm. At one point at the beginning part of the year, he was one of the leaders in batting average for Springfield, but his playing time has decreased. He'll line this one up the middle, and it gets through for a base hit. So he gets his 14th hit of the season. And leadoff man's aboard for Springfield today here in the 8th. Springfield's pretty much gotten a runner on in every single inning. The only inning that they did not get a runner aboard was back in the 6th inning. It was a 1-2-3 inning for Clark with 2 strikeouts. Other than that, Springfield's gotten a man aboard in every single inning. They've just been able to score 1 run as they've left 11 runners stranded. Here's Ethan Sitzman now, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout and 2 walks. First pitch to Sitzman. Away, and it's now 1-0. So Sitzman, he was one of the 2 strikeouts in that 6th inning for Clark. He got the fastball up to 86, 87 miles per hour on Sitzman, and that really came out of nowhere. Sitzman fouls this one away, and it's 1-1. Right there, that was a ball that came in at 79 miles per hour for Clark. But he's been able to change the speeds quite a bit. It's resulted in success for him as he's had back-to-back scoreless frames, or rather back-to-back scoreless frames, looking for another one here in the 8th. 3-1 now to Sitzman, runs away, and it's now 2-1. So the former St. Louis Billiken facing off against the future St. Louis Billiken, and Sitzman at the plate. Here's the 2-1. That one slapped foul. 2-2. When we were up in Vancouver, Washington, there was actually a restaurant bar up in the area near our hotel that was called Billikens, and you guessed it, Ethan Sitzman at the plate. He wanted to go there to eat. They, however, were closed by the time we got there off the bus in Ridgefield. Here's the 2-2 away, and it's now 3-2. 8-1 Corvallis with the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Runner at first in Soper after leading off with a single. Clark ready. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Sitzman. Slaps it to right field, dropping fast, and it does drop for a base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Springfield Drifters. Put 2 men aboard here in the 8th inning, and it turns over the lineup for Cole Kleckner. It's the 5th hit of the year for Ethan Sitzman, who came into the game just 4 for 31. He's now 5 for 32 with a couple of walks today now. So here's Cole Kleckner, singled in the 4th, 1 for 4 overall. First pitch to Kleckner, inside, and it's now 1-0. Nobody warming up right now in the Corvallis bullpen. So it looks like they're giving their confidence to Clark, especially in an 8-1 ball game. The lefty shakes, and now comes set. Here's the 1-0 now. Kleckner grounds it to the left side through the 5-6 hole. Stopping at third is Soper. 3 straight singles by Springfield have loaded the bases. And here comes Trevor Anson. So Springfield They have the bases loaded. This is the second time today they've had the bases loaded. The first time, they did not score any runs. It was bases loaded, 1 out. And ultimately, it was a pop-up by Kleckner and a strikeout by Anson that ended the inning. That was back in the second. Now it's a different situation with nobody out. First pitch to Anson away, and it's now 1-0. Anson today, 2 strikeouts and a flyout, as well as a hit by pitch. He's on that 4-game hit streak, and if he wants to extend it to 5, this is a perfect opportunity to do so with his team trailing 8-1 and the bases loaded. The 1-0 away, and it's now 2-0. Springfield this year, they've had 7 come-from-behind victories. They've also had 3 walk-offs. Seven runs would be quite the comeback. Well, we still have some time. The 2-0, high and away, and it's now 3-0. It is 7 runs, but Springfield has 6 outs to work with. They have 3 runners on and a 3-0 count for Trevor Anson with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. The 3-0 pitch comes in for a strike, and it's now 3-1. So Anson doesn't get the green light there. On deck is Caden DeLozier, the left-handed hitter. Clark ready, here's a 3-1, swing and a miss. Anson chased on a high fastball, and the count is full. That one in the upper part of the zone, Anson just a little bit under it. It's now a full count with the bases loaded. Clark nods and comes set. Here's the payoff pitch. High and away, that's a walk and a run. Soper trots in to score, it's 8-2. So 3 straight singles and a walk brings in the second run today. Now a mound meeting between Brooke Knight and Will Clark, and it looks like he's going to take the ball from him, and he is. So that'll do it for Will Clark. The bases are loaded, nobody out. It's 8-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. We'll step aside and take a break. We'll let you know who the new pitcher is on the other half of this break with Caden DeLozier coming up. Bases loaded, nobody out. So the new pitcher on the mound is none other than Briley Knight, the right-hander from the University of Portland and the son of head coach of the Corvallis Knights. He's now going to get into the game, and, well, he's actually an outfielder at the University of Portland. Today he's going to get the nod on the mound. This is going to be his second outing of the year. He threw 1 inning prior, allowed 1 hit, and no earned runs. He has not thrown any not thrown in any games at the University of Portland or University of Utah, where he first went to school. Now he's on the mound after DHing today. He comes in with the bases loaded, and here's Caden Delosier with nobody out. First pitch, swing and a miss, and it's now 0-1. Last summer in the Cape Cod League, he played for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. He threw in one game there and threw an inning, allowed 1 run on 2 hits. So he's thrown in summer ball, but he has not thrown in collegiate baseball. Delosier looks at a pitch down and in the dirt inside, 1-1 now. If you go back to 2019, he played for the Corvallis Knights then. He threw in 3 games then, threw 3 innings, allowed 3 hits and 1 earned run in the 2019 season. Here's the 1-1 to Delosier. That one runs away, and it's now a balk, actually. So they're going to call a balk instead of a pitch. Sitzman trots in to score. Over to second is Anson. Kleckner over to third, and it's now 8-3. Game's getting a little bit more exciting. 2 runners in scoring position. 8-3 the score. Delosier at the plate. 1-1 the count. Knight on the mound. The pitch is high, and it's now 2-1. If you go back to 2018, he was also pitching with the Corvallis Knights, or rather playing with the Corvallis Knights, and that was his most trafficked season on the mound. 3 games, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits and 4 runs for him, 7 walks. Delosier cuts through the 2-1 pitch, and it's now 2-2. So as a whole, if you look at his numbers, he's appeared in 8 games with 1 start. He's thrown at 13 innings, allowing 9 hits, 6 runs, and 10 walks. Here's the 2-2. High and inside on Delosier. It's now 3-2. Count runs full. First base is open. On deck is Isaiah Thomas. 8-3, Corvallis with the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Knight ready. Here's the 3-2. Fouled away by Delosier. We'll do it one more time. Knight staring in, taking his time, finally comes set. Payoff pitch. High, and Delosier's aboard with the walk. Still nobody out. Bases loaded again for Springfield. Here's Isaiah Thomas. It was 8-1 as we began this inning. It's 8-3 now. Still nobody out. Springfield has a chance for more. The powerful Isaiah Thomas coming to the plate. 1 for 3 today with a double run and a hit by pitch. Knight going to work out of the windup as the first pitch of Thomas is crushed well foul left field side. Good contact for Thomas, 97 off the bat there. Just sent it about 20 yards left of the chalk, and it's 0-1. In Walla Walla, Isaiah Thomas hit his first home run as a Springfield Drifter. That was in the 9th inning. Big spot here. And he golfs at a pitch well outside the box. 78-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch from Knight there, and it's 0-2. It's been a big adjustment for Isaiah Thomas as he's working his way back into baseball after missing all of last year after taking the season off. For him, just getting these summer ball reps to see live pitches again have been huge. The 0-2, swing and a miss. A little in front of the 77-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch from Knight. And finally, the first out is recorded here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it brings up Taylor Holder. Bases still loaded, 1 out. 8-3 Corvallis with the lead. First strikeout for Briley Knight. First pitch to Holder, in there for a strike, and it's now 0-1. Holder today, a double in the 5th, a strikeout looking in the 7th and 1st, as well as a ground out in the 3rd. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Holder looks at it, and it's in there for a strike. 0-2. So Riley Knight got his first strikeout on a looking pitch to swinging pitch to Isaiah Thomas. Now he's ahead with Taylor Holder. The windup, the 0-2 pitch. Just inside. Holder was standing in there with a chance that it maybe clipped him. Instead, it just misses on the inside part of the plate. 1-2. Springfield's had 10 hits today. Not a lot of them have come with runners in scoring position. Here's the 1-2 to Holder. He'll pop this in the air, shallow right center field. And Kennel now in the grass makes the catch. That's a pop-up by Holder. Second out is recorded. So Ryan Fowler will come up to the plate. Base is still loaded for Springfield. 2 runs in the inning. One off of a walk and another one off of a walk as well. Or excuse me, one off of a balk and one off of a walk. So no hits and no RBI hits for Springfield here. Fowler with a chance with 2 outs and the base is loaded. Looks at the first pitch. It misses. 1-0. Fowler today 0 for 2. Pop up in the infield and a fly out to center field. Knight winds the 1-0 pitch. Fowler pops this one in the air. Kennel under it again in right field. Makes the catch on the grass, and the inning is over. Springfield can't get a hit with the bases loaded, but they score 2 runs off of a walk and a balk. 3 hits overall in the inning for Springfield, 2 runs as a whole. We head now to the 9th inning. 8-3, Corvallis with the lead. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here in Springfield.
Make sure to subscribe to the Chronicle today and follow your Springfield Drifters all season long. The Chronicle, serving Springfield, Crestwell, Cottage Grove, and Pleasant Hill with hyper-local news and information. Please visit their website at chronicle1909.com or keep an eye out for copies at select local stores.
Top of the 9th inning, and after getting a position player on the mound for the Corvallis Knights, we get one for the Springfield Drifters. It's going to be Sheehan O'Connor, the right-hander from Everett Community College. Timo Becerra steps up to the plate, and the first pitch is fouled back. It's now 0-1. So this is the second time we're seeing Sheehan O'Connor on the mound for the Springfield Drifters. We saw him earlier against Ridgefield last weekend. And now he gets put into the game here in the 9th inning. 8-3 Corvallis with the lead. There's a slider inside, or I believe it is a slider, 1-1. It's obviously hard to tell with a player that really doesn't pitch. He's an infielder at Everett Community College, and he's been an infielder with the Drifters. But with the pitching staff so thin, he's been thrusted into the game. He'll throw a strike, and it's 1-2. That was 85 mile per hour from the pitcher in O'Connor. Here's the 1-2. That one drops low and inside. 2-2 now to Becerra, who had an RBI single back in the third, but other than that, a fly out, a ground out, and a strikeout. Two balls, two strikes, nobody on for Becerra. O'Connor ready. Here's the 2-2. That's a fastball that runs away, and it's now full 3-2. Connor just looks like a position player out there on the mound. Really doesn't do much with his legs. His entire pitching motion seems to be all arm, which could take a toll on the arm. Becerra's going to reach for a pitch and line it out to right field. Thomas comes in a few steps, makes the catch on the line, and Becerra is retired. So we'll bring up Ethan Lovelace for the 5th time today. 2 hit by pitches as well as a ground out and a fly out. So 0 for 2 for Lovelace. He did score 2 runs on those hit by pitches. 1 out, nobody on for Lovelace in this 8-3 ball game. Corvallis with the lead. Connor throws a pitch in there for a strike, and it's now 0-1. Ja Jakopine today, he had a really excellent outing on the mound. 2 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, just 1 walk. The 0-2 fouled back. Do it again. Connor set. Here's the 0-2. That one high, and it's now 1-2. So the pitching coach for the Springfield Drifters is Keith Hessler, who was the pitching coach at Everett, and now the head coach there. 1-2 down, it's now 2-2. And so Sheehan O'Connor, he has a chance to not only impress his pitching coach for the Drifters here in Keith Hessler, but also his head coach at Everett Community College in Keith Hessler. There's the 2-2, fouled away by Lovelace. We'll do it one more time. Really exciting stuff for Hessler to be named the head coach at Everett Community College. He's a coach that is very well liked here in Springfield, as well as the Everett Community College players. They've had high praise for Hessler. Just was named to that position 2 days ago, and he's already been dealing with a lot of admin work. 2-2, swing and a miss, a strikeout for Sheehan O'Connor. Pumped it up to 86 miles per hour there on that fastball, and it got Lovelace chasing. 2 outs now. This brings in Logan Johnstone, the leadoff hitter for the Corvallis Knights. Nobody on, 8-3 the score, Corvallis with the lead. First pitch, a strike, 0-1. O'Connor threw a little bit in high school, but not much since going to community college. He throws a slider just off the plate, 1-1. He was really excited to get a chance to potentially throw this summer, and when he finally did, he was very thrilled with his performance. 1-1, chopped up the middle. O'Connor can't jump on it on the mound. Anson tried to barehanded it, but he bobbled it, and reaching first safely is Johnstone. And he's had an impressive day today. That is going to be his 3rd single and his 4th hit overall after doubling in the second. Overall in the game, 4 for 5 for Logan Johnstone, and the 11th hit overall for Corvallis. That's an infield single for the leadoff man. So now 2 outs, runner at first. Here's Tyler Quinn, and he loses his bat on the first pitch. It went about 10, 15 feet up the netting. That one just sailed on him. 0-1. We've had a few times the bats have flown here in Springfield. I think the furthest bat we saw was a bat that went into the dugout of the opposing team. Not really sure who it was. All these games kind of blend together, but we did have one game where a swinger swung, the bat flew in the air into their own dugout. Quinn puts some tar on the bat, retightens the gloves, and steps back in. Connor looks back towards first, now comes set. 0-1 the count, here's the pitch. That one high, 1-1. Gotta think that O'Connor, he might have a chance to even potentially get some innings at Everett. 2-1 now as that one's inside. If he can impress here, he had a scoreless inning against Ridgefield. If he can have a scoreless inning here, he's throwing about 85 to 87 with no leg movement. There's some stuff that can be tuned. 3-1 as that pitch bounced down and away. 3-1. But if he's throwing about 85 to 87 with a spin rate plus 2,200, if he can work the legs a little bit more into that pitching motion, he could bump it up maybe past 90. It's 3-2 now as that one was called a strike at the knees. The count is full. Sure, if he actually got a correct pitching lesson and was able to bend the knees a little bit, use some of the legs for his power, I think that he could get over 90. Maybe sit mid to low 90s, but he's going to hit Quinn here with a pitch, and he'll move over the runner in Johnstone to second. Now O'Connor's going to have to work himself out of a jam. And if he wants to be a pitcher, you're going to have to get yourself out of jams like this. We'll see if he can. It's a tough hitter coming to the plate. Kiko Romero, who is hitless today. First pitch, high. And Fowler just tracked it down. Both Johnstone and Quinn were not running as Fowler got back to the backstop quickly, 1-0. So Romero, hitless. It was hit by a pitch and had a sac fly. So an 0 for 3 day with the strikeout. Here's the 1-0. That one high and away from O'Connor, and it's now 2-0 to the batter in Romero. 2-0 pitch away, and it's now 3-0. So after getting the first two batters out on a line out and a strikeout, O'Connor has allowed an infield single, hit a batter, and now is down at 3-0 to Kiko Romero. Briley Knight on deck. Romero was taken all the way as he was stepping out of the box as the pitch came in. It was called a strike, and it's 3-1. Here's the 3-1, and that one runs high and away, and the bases are full.
Now batting, number 13, Briley Knight.
Johnstone moves over to third. Quinn moves over to second. And Romero at first. Briley Knight coming up to the plate. So we get the position player, pitcher, and Knight going up against the position player, pitcher in Sheehan O'Connor. 2 outs, bases loaded. 8-3 Corvallis with the lead, and Briley Knight fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. Springfield scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out. But ultimately, it was a strikeout and 2 infield flies that ended the inning for the Drifters. The 0-1. Knight's going to line this towards right field, dropping right in front of Isaiah Thomas. That'll score 1 run as Johnstone comes in, but they're going to hold Quinn at third, and the bases are still loaded, but the Knights extend the lead. It is 9-3 as we just break over the 3-hour mark here in Springfield. Third hit today for Briley Knight. Impressive day, and as well as that inning on the mound. First pitch now to Titus Dimitru away, and it's now 1-0. Here's the 1-0 to Dimitru. Looked at, called a strike, 1-1. Dimitru today, a walk back in the first, a single in the third, hit by pitch in the fourth, but since then, a ground out and fly out to second. The 1-1 fouled back, and it's 1-2. Shane O'Connor's a strike away from getting out of the inning with just one run allowed on the RBI hit from Briley Knight. So far, 2 hits in the inning for Corvallis as they're up to 12 total and 9 runs. They have a chance for more, though, with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Connor ready. Here's the 1-2. Dimitru skies this out. Left field. Holder giving chase. Stops under it. Makes the catch. And the inning is over. Just the 2 hits for the Corvallis Knights and 1 run coming in on the RBI hit from Briley Knight. We head now to the bottom of the 9th inning. Corvallis with a 6-run lead. It's 9-3. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here at home as they're hoping for a miracle as we head to the 9th. So the position player pitchers are continuing. It's going to be Kiko Romero on the mound for the Corvallis Knights. He's thrown 1/3 of an inning this year with Corvallis in another big blowout game. It's 9-3 Corvallis with the lead as we begin the bottom of the 9th inning. Cade Chris comes up to the plate on the first pitch to him. Fastball away, and it's now 1-0. So Romero got the start at first base today. Now he's on the mound. At first base is going to be Brady Lavoie. He's normally an outfielder for the Knights. It's now 2-0 to Cade Chris as that one missed below the knees. So it looks like Corvallis, similar to Springfield, pretty thin on the pitchers. 2-0 fouled away by Cade Chris, and it's now 2-1. Romero, similar to Shane O'Connor, he's sitting about mid-80s with a 2,200 spin rate on his fastball. Not bad stuff for a guy that really isn't a pitcher. 2-1 to Cade Chris, cut on and miss, 2-2. Cade Chris today, a single back in the second. Since then, a line out, a walk, and a fly out. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Just inside, and now it's a full count to Cade Chris. Romero ready, the windup, payoff pitch. Chris reaches for it, fouls it away. We'll do it one more time. On deck is Michael Soper and Ethan Sitzman in the hole. It's 7, 8, and 9 for Springfield. 3-2 outside, and Chris is heading to first on a walk. His second walk today, 3 for 5 on base percentage. So here's Michael Soper. He led off last inning with a single up the middle. He picked up hit number 14 on the year. Overall, 1 for 4 today. Romero now going to have to work out of the stretch as he was working out of the windup. Didn't even know position players had windups. Inside, and it's now 1-0. There are 3 players in the Corvallis Knights bullpen, although none of them are warming up as we speak. We'll see how long they let Romero go, if he can get the save maybe. Either way, this is going to be lined out towards right by Soper. It drops down softly. Chris is going to stay at second as the throw came in from right field by Lovelace. It's a hit for Soper, his second hit in 2 innings. 15th hit overall on the year. It's a multi-hit day for Soper, and it brings up Ethan Sitzman. Runners at first and second, nobody out. 9-3 the score, bottom of the 9th. Springfield still has 3 outs to work with. It ain't over yet. Sitzman grounds it to the left side. It's through the 5-6 hole. Christ is going to stop there at third, and the bases are juiced. So the Springfield Drifters, for the second straight inning, have bases loaded, nobody out. The first time they didn't get any hits. It was a strikeout by Isaiah Thomas, and then infield pop-ups by Taylor Holder and Ryan Fowler. Now it's the top of the order. Cole Kleckner at the plate. First pitch to Kleckner, high, and it's 1-0. (9-3) Corvallis leading in the bottom of the 9th. Springfield looking to score some runs. Kleckner just fouls off the pitch, and it's 1-1. It looked like a check swing for Kleckner. He didn't even go all the way around. It just clipped off the bat and went foul. Springfield today has left 14 runners on base. Kleckner cuts through a pitch. It was a fastball from Romero at 84, and it's 1-2 now. Romero ready, the 1-2. Swing and a miss. It's a strikeout for Cole Kleckner, and that's a big first out for Kiko Romero. It's a good response for the right-hander after allowing back-to-back singles to load the bases. And here's Trevor Anson still searching for his first hit today. He has 2 strikeouts, a flyout, a walk, and a hit by pitch. First pitch to Anson. Swings and misses. Coming in to score is Cade Christ, and actually is in there safely. Looked like it got it closely was Tanner Smith, who flipped it over to Romero. Just Chris right in front of the tag. It was a close play, but either way, Chris scores, and it's now 9-4. Soper moves over to third. Sitzman to second on the play. 2 runners in scoring position for Trevor Anson, and still the Drifters have had bases loaded 3 times today with no hits. Anson fouls this back, and it's now 0-2. Feels like that's been the story of the season for Springfield. They've been able to pull together hits, get lots of hits. They have 12 today. They just haven't been able to get hits with runners in scoring position. Anson's rung up on an 0-2 pitch, right down the heart of the plate. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kiko Romero, his first backwards K. And it brings up Caden Delozier. So after Springfield loaded the bases on a walk and 2 hits, they scored a run on a pass ball, but still no hits. Delozier looks at the first pitch away, 1-0. Delozier today singled back in the first, but since then, a flyout, a strikeout look, and a hit by pitch and walk. He'll crush a ball to right field pretty deep. Lovelace can't track it down. It's off the wall. Delosier digging for two. Both runs are going to score on the 2 RBI double by Caden Delosier. And it's 9-6 now. That was 98 off the bat of Delosier. Went 326. It was a hard hit ball, and now a runner in scoring position, 2 outs. And here's Isaiah Thomas. Delosier picks up his second double as a Springfield Drifter, and RBIs 4 and 5 for him. First pitch to Isaiah Thomas, brushes him up inside, and it's now 1-0. Thomas doubled in the 3rd inning. A couple of ground outs and a hit by pitch and strikeout since. Swings and misses at the 1-0, and it's now 1-1. 78 for Romero there as he got Thomas swinging on the off speed. Here's the 1-1. Thomas looks at it. It's called a strike. 1-2. Springfield is down to their final strike. Corvallis, they're on the verge of winning their 10th straight game. Springfield on the verge of dropping their 10th in their past 12. 1-2. Thomas lines this to center field. And making the play in center field is Logan Johnstone. Looked like he came in a few steps, misread it, but ultimately was able to snag the liner. Thomas is out, and the ball game is over. 9-6 is the final as Corvallis wins their first game as a program here at Hamlin Sports Complex. Springfield won the first 2 games here at Hamlin. They won them both 3-1, but this time Corvallis comes in and wins the game 9-6. Springfield did score 2 runs in the 8th and 3 runs in the 9th, but ultimately this game was pretty far out of reach. Springfield had opportunities throughout the entire game to score. They just weren't able to execute. The only time they were able to execute was in the 9th inning. It was Caden Delosier who had 2 runners in scoring position, and he had a double. Other than that, the Drifters had bases loaded 3 times, and they weren't able to pull out a single hit, especially with bases loaded 1 out, bases loaded nobody out. Springfield, they just couldn't hit with runners in scoring position, and ultimately in the game, they left 15 runners on base, and you can't really win a lot of baseball games when you do that. They did have a good day offensively as they had over 10 hits in the game. They finished with 11. Ultimately, though, it wasn't enough as they fell 9-6 to Corvallis. We'll be back at it again tomorrow in Corvallis. It'll be a 6:35 start time. We'll be starting around 6:30 in Corvallis. We'll see you guys then. Thank you to everybody who's been involved in this broadcast. Thank you to the Springfield Drifters for allowing this opportunity to provide you baseball games here at home at Hamlin Sports Complex. Really looking forward to going up to Corvallis tomorrow for Game 3 of this series. Springfield looking to avoid the sweep as they dropped their 10th game in their past 12. So long from Springfield. It's been a pleasure. Knight Uretsky, your play-by-play man. See you tomorrow from Corvallis.